This is a Mets year. For all your Mets here, let's go. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home. Make it happen. There's no stopping us now. We're gonna do it again. It's not a question of how. It's just a matter. It's just a matter.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets at Rob with another Mets live stream and Mets pregame show right here on the channel. We are going to take you through the pregame and go right into the Mets Mariners. And of course, Ronny Mauricio is making his major league debut with the New York Mets. The highly anticipated MLB debut for Mets fans. It's been a long time coming. We've been hearing his name for years during the Wilpon era with Ronny Mauricio. For a time now, he was the number one prospect in the Mets Bear farm system. Finally, he is up. The baby Mets are up. The 4 baby Mets are up. Mauricio was in the lineup tonight, along with Alvarez, along with Beatty. No Vientos, but he is on the roster as well. And yes, Beatty is also the one of the other ones that were called up, along with Jose Butto. And we are going to see the New York Mets take on one of the hottest teams in baseball and one of the best players in the game in Julio Rodriguez and the Seattle Mariners. So on the screen, you see the lineup and the pitching matchup for tonight. That's right. Kodai Senga is on the mound for the Mets against Logan Gilbert for the Mariners. You see the lineup. We're going to get to the lineup just now. But don't forget, guys, please hit on that like button. And if you're a new subscriber of the channel, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you keep on coming back for more. This is what we do here on the channel. Haven't been doing a lot of live streams for during games. Unfortunately, I've been extremely busy, and to stay on for 3-4 hours is a little tough when I do work overnight. You guys know the deal. So I do apologize for that, but don't worry. There's going to be a lot of streams during this month for the end of the season. You know, we ain't going to have a lot of live streams like this for basically the entire winter until spring training. So I wanted to spend as much time as possible with you guys to hang out and talk Mets baseball and, of course, listen to the game today. And if you don't know, the game is on Apple TV Plus today. So no SNY, no Pix 11, no Fox or ESPN or anything of that nature. So if you don't have Apple TV Plus, come here, hang out, enjoy the game. You will get the live feed, the live play-by-play from Apple TV. I believe Wayne Randazzo is doing a call for the game for Apple TV, I believe. And, of course, his other analysts as well. Again, we all don't like the Apple TV broadcast. We all prefer SNY, but we take what we get. It is still baseball. But Apple TV has actually been a lot better from what they had last year, which was an abomination. They figured it out that it makes more sense to put play-by-play guys and color analysts that are actually associated with the team or has some intellectual ability with the team. So that's a good thing to see as well. So here we are, guys. Mets pregame show right here on Talking Mets with Rob. Once again, welcome. We're going to look at the lineup right now against the Mariners and Logan Gilbert. So for tonight's lineup, for our New York Mets, and here we are. Brandon Nimo. And I know I spelled Nimo wrong. That's okay. Brandon Nimmy. Why not, right? Brandon Nimo playing center field, batting first. Francisco Lindor playing shortstop, batting second. Jeff McNeil playing left field, batting third. Pete Alonso cleaning up, playing first base. Daniel Vogelbach. Yes, I spelled Daniel wrong as well. On the fly, guys, on the fly. Daniel Vogelbach, DH and batting fifth. DJ Stewart playing right field, batting sixth. Francisco Alvarez catching, batting seventh. Brett Beatty playing third base, batting eighth, and Ronny Mauricio batting ninth and playing second base. That's the position I think the Mets really want him to be successful in. He hasn't played great defensively at basically any position on the field. Second base is where I believe the Mets really want him, especially if he's going to be a big part of this team next year. Second base is the ideal spot. We'll see how he works with Lindor. And listen, there's no better guy to be your double playmate than Francisco Lindor, especially defensively. So I think that's a big deal as well with the New York Mets. And I have no idea why soccer is on Apple TV. Jesus Lord. But listen, guys, it makes a lot of sense to put Mauricio at second base with Lindor. You don't want to hang him out too dry in left field, especially in his debut. You know, maybe he'll end up there eventually, but I do not think that it makes sense for him to play anywhere but second base at the moment, because I think that's where the Mets really, really want him, and it makes the most sense for everybody going forward, because you can keep Brett Beatty in third base, and with your outfield prospects and maybe whatever you do in the offseason, it gives yourself options to fill that left field role. That is a big possibility. You know, is Gilbert going to be the guy that is going to be a left fielder of the future? Who knows? Maybe Luis Angel Acuna. We have options now, and it's just a matter of time. We got versatility now. We got guys that can play multiple positions, right? Even though Mauricio hasn't played great in the outfield, he can play. He can be serviceable enough to play the outfield. So that is something that you have to look at going forward when you're in the Mets. And if you don't know, the Mets did fire a ton of staff, a ton of player development directors, scouting directors. Basically, everybody who was left on the Wilpons on the scouting side and the developmental side are all gone now. And there was also a report that the Mets are going to make a decision in the next 2 weeks on the president of baseball operations. Now, I don't know how because remember, David Stern went from GM to basically an advisor. So I don't know if the contract is different now since he became an advisor, and there's some stipulation in that contract where in 2 weeks he can get out of that contract, because that really doesn't make sense. If David Stern is supposed to be the guy, or everybody believes he's supposed to be the guy, and he's still on the contract, well, the Mets can't make that announcement 2 weeks from now, because the season is still going on. So that is an ongoing story that I don't really know much about, and it doesn't really make sense, but we'll see what happens. Again, if they do make that decision within 2 weeks, I'm assuming they want David Stearns, but again, we've only talked about David Stearns because that was the obvious choice ever since a few years ago when the Mets tried to get Steve Cohen last year and the first year he was owner. So it just makes sense. But again, if he's going to make a decision within 2 weeks from now, then I'm assuming David Stearns has something in his contract where he can, leave the Milwaukee Brewers and take another job. That's the only thing I can think of, unless, which nobody might know, maybe D.O. Epstein, Steve Cohen ripped away D.O. Epstein from the MLB executive offices. I mean, that could be a possibility too. That would be big news as well, because there has been talk a lot with D.O. Epstein, with the Yankees, about if they were going to fire Brian Cashman. That is probably not going to happen now. But there's been talk about D.O. Epstein coming back into the game. Maybe Steve Cohen finally budged and say, hey, I'll give you 2% of ownership or something like that. But maybe D.O. Epstein is the guy that is going to be hired by the Mets. And I don't think anybody would be mad about that. Even though he hasn't been a GM for a couple of years now, when you break two curses with the Cubs and the Red Sox, it's a welcome insight to bring D.O. Epstein with the Mets. So let me see what everybody's saying in the comments. Hopefully the comments working right now. Let's see. All right. Well, it's the pregame show right now. Once the game starts, I will have game day up and the play-by-play. I can't show the live feed because that will be copyright. Yes, Teoscar Hernandez is an option as well. He can play the outfield. That's the guy that definitely can play left field. I believe he's playing right field today. he could play corner outfield. So yeah, I don't think Brian Sabian wants to be a GM anymore. He's up there in age, and I think he just maybe wants to be in an advisor role to like a GM or something, like an assistant GM. Yeah, Mike Rizzo is a guy we know about. Mike Rizzo, he was with the Nationals. He was good, but you got to remember when Mike Rizzo was the GM, he was a guy that was with an owner that was willing to spend a ton of money. So I don't know how much besides Juan Soto. Ryan Zimmerman. I don't even think he was around when Ryan Zimmerman was drafted, right? And Strasburg and guys like that. But yeah, Robert, listen, could we not worry about Mauricio being somewhere in the lineup? Again, let's not put all the pressure in the world on this kid, okay? This is the same that goes for Beatty and Alvarez. Alvarez, for example, his best part of his season this year was when he was batting 8th in the lineup. So let's not go crazy about lineup construction with these young kids. It's not the end of the world where you're batting these guys right now, right? You give the kid a chance. If he's raking over the next week or so, he's going to move up just like Beatty did, just like Alvarez did in the lineup once they started hitting. Don't put all the pressure in the world and put him behind Alonso thinking that he has to do everything in the world to protect Alonso. You don't need all that. Yeah, explosive. You can be very grumpy, but again, I think that's a lot of bullshit media because the two New York teams are bad and not making the playoffs. New York media needs something to talk about, and I think they riled this up more than it actually was. And this is also negotiating tactics by both sides. Don't think for a second that Alonso's representatives and the Mets organization didn't leak some stuff out there, even if it's true or false, just to have a negotiating tactic, and that's okay. And it's not going to be that crazy. Again, people went too far into it. Again, if you read the story, the actual story about the Mets having trade talks with the Brewers, the Mets did not initiate that trade talk or that call. The Brewers called Billy Epler about Pete Alonso. Billy Epler is not doing his job if you don't listen, right? Billy Epler clearly made an astronomical asking price, obviously. You're not doing your job. As a GM, you better take every call. Billy Epler should be fired on the spot if he hung up that call right away. Because not only what that does is shows you teams that are willing to probably want Alonso, it shows his value as well. Just because Met fans adore him and love him doesn't mean every team and every organization loves Pete Alonso. They might not like that low batting average, and that might scare teams away, right? They might not like the way he plays defense. They might not like the way his strikeout rate is higher than normal. There's a lot of things. Just because we love him and he's beloved by Met fans doesn't mean that every organization and every fan base loves Pete Alonso, right? During the All-Star game, we talked about this, how there was a lot of people on Twitter, outside people like other fans that dislike Pete Alonso. They think he's quirky and a fake. And that goes around the league as well. And people believe that a lot of players don't really like Pete Alonso personally around the league. So, that was all talked about during the All-Star break and during the Home Run Derby. So, again, it is what it is at this point. The fact of the matter is, if you believe, look, Bob Nightingale came up with that story, that report about the Mets are going to trade Pete Alonso during the offseason. Yet nobody wanted to talk about that. It was Bob freaking Nightingale. And sorry, my camera's moving around. My cat's going crazy. Yeah. So it was Bob Nightingale. Nobody believes him during free agent period, offseason, trades, deadline. Nobody believes him, but everybody took that story and ran with it. Yet they never take his story and run with it when it's offseason news or trades or free agency, right? And then you see how fast after that Bob Nightingale story, how everybody went to defend the Mets organization and Pete Alonso. about clubhouse toxicity and being traded and all that stuff, there was multiple reports from many different outlets talking about Pete Alonso and the Mets not trading him. Right? It all happened quickly because I think it's a lot of nonsense. And I think the New York media has nothing, especially the baseball media in New York, has nothing to talk about. Right? For the last month, they had nothing to talk about. Both teams are bad. Both teams are not making the playoffs. There is no story to be talked about. So what do? Media makes up stories, or at least the story might be there a little bit. They blow it up to get clicks and to get reads and to get eyes on their stories. That's what they have done for a while. And if you don't realize that, just look, in over a 3-week span, we've heard about 30 different stories. And then questions asked to players and saying, no, Pete's not there. They asked former players, Scherzer, Verlander, other guys that were on the Mets about them. So you gotta realize what this media, the New York media, is trying to do. The baseball media is basically, they have nothing to do now. Now they have a little bit to talk about with the Yankees bringing up a couple of prospects and the Mets bringing up Mauricio and Beatty coming back up. That's what they talk about now. So they have something to talk about now. So that Pete Alonso nonsense is going to go on the back burner. You know why? Because the media actually has something to talk about that is not just getting clicks right now. They can get clicks by talking about Mauricio and Justin Dominguez and the other prospects the Yankees brought up, and Beatty coming back up and all that stuff. So that's what you have to look at when, and again, it's amazing to me how fickle sports fans are, especially with a baseball fan base that laughs at Bob Nightingale's tweets and stories and reports and breaking news, so to speak, from him, right? We laugh at the tweets when he posted, like, oh, Bob Nightingale said that the Mets are going to sign, I don't know, anybody. Say Shohei Ohtani. And then everybody's going to say, let's wait until Peter Gammons or Joel Sherman or Ken Rosendahl say it, or Jeff Passan, right? Come on. Like that, and then everybody ran with the Bob Nightingale story when nobody believes Bob Nightingale ever, but because it's a big name, it's now the face of the franchise. Guess what? Oh my God, let's make it real. That's how stupid it is. So yeah, Explosive, he's the face of the franchise. That's fine. But I root for the jersey. I root for the name on the front of the jersey, not on the back of the jersey. Win me a World Series. I can care less who's on the team, right? Who are you in love with in 2015, right? Who are you in love with? Because Cespedes wasn't homegrown. If it wasn't for Cespedes, the Mets might have never made the playoffs, right? Daniel Murphy was homegrown. The Wilpons couldn't wait to not give him an offer, a contract, right? Jose Reyes was part of a double-headed face of the franchise with David Wright. They didn't offer him anything, right? David Wright, I mean, you had to pull teeth to give the Wilpons to sign David Wright. You had to pull teeth and put pressure on the Wilpons to eventually sign Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom was the face of the franchise when Pete Alonso was on this team. Where's he now, right? So I think we're too crazy in just worrying about, and it goes for other people on WFAN like Joe Benigno. We never had a franchise player that stayed on the team their whole career. Well, you're probably going to have one in Brandon Nimo. What, that's not good enough now? But everybody couldn't wait to give Nimo an 8-year deal, right? And couldn't wait Nimo to have the contract. You can't get rid of Nimo, right? Well, Nimo's probably going to be here for the rest of his career. There's your career homegrown guy that's going to be a franchise player that is going to be part of your team probably his entire career. That's not good enough? Oh, but it has to be Alonso. You see how stupid that sounds? What if Ronny Mauricio is that guy? Like, we're so infatuated with stuff like that. I want to win. And Pete Alonso I believe, can be a part of this winning core. But let's not act like it's the end-all, be-all. So, and that's the only thing. Well, easy. I get that. Again, right? People were at the deadline saying they're going to be fans of other teams. Good for you. That means you were never a real fan to begin with. And again, baseball, this is why I love baseball and the fans for baseball, because it's baseball and hockey mostly, right? Because there's still those real fans that root for the front of the jersey and not for the player on the back, right? NBA has become a fan base full of fake fans of teams, right? I told you this the other day. I have a friend that is a huge Kevin Durant fan. He was never a fan of a team. He was a fan of Kevin Durant. He had a Sonics uniform. He had an OKC uniform. He had a Golden State uniform. He had a Nets uniform. And he also had a Phoenix uniform because Kevin Durant, everywhere he went, he bought that jersey. Right? He was a fan of the player, not a fan of the team. That's what the NBA has become. It's become a fan base that roots for players, right? You walk around New York, you go to a Knicks game when they're facing the Golden State Warriors, you'll see Steph Curry jerseys everywhere. They're not fans of that team. Let's be honest, right? And I think the younger generation doesn't have a loyalty to a team not much now than, say, me and probably the older fan base that roots for the front of the jersey. The problem is the younger generation, right? We were all young at one point. We all had a favorite player. You know, when I was younger, free agency wasn't a huge thing. It was a part of baseball, but it wasn't as rampant as it is now. And people who were older than me, like my father, there wasn't free agency, or it just started to be a part of baseball when they put that into effect. So there's a lot of things you have to look at there in that aspect, that it was easy to root for a team because players didn't move teams like they do now. But at the same time, I root for the colors and the name on the chest in the front of the jersey. I can care less what's on the back. If you make my team win, right? Do you think Jet fans will care if the Jets win the World Series and Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback? Or are they going to complain that he wasn't homegrown? He wasn't drafted by them. Come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, it goes for every sport, right? I don't care what fan base you are of a team. If you win a championship, you can care less who was that people on the team, right? Whose numbers have been retired for the Mets recently? Keith Hernandez wasn't homegrown. Mike Piazza wasn't homegrown, right? So let's not act like the two guys that are beloved with this fan base in Piazza and Keith Hernandez are two guys that weren't drafted or developed by the Mets. They came via trades. So let's not act like it's an end-all be-all. Yes, you would love homegrown guys, but Brandon Nimo could be that homegrown guy that can play his entire career here. That's not good enough for you. All of a sudden, that's not good enough for you? But it has to be Pete Alonso? No, it doesn't have to be. Do I want to trade Pete Alonso? Absolutely not. But let's not act like the world's going to end and Mets baseball is going to be a dying breed if Pete Alonso's not on the Mets in a year or two. I think we're so beyond thinking that way. It's idiotic. All right? Right? The Texas Rangers, how many homegrown guys do they have? The Seattle Mariners, they got a couple of homegrown guys, but they made trades, they made signings as well. The game's about to start in a little bit, so once we do, I'll throw up game day and, of course, the sound of the game, and we will watch Mets baseball, and, of course, when Ronny Mauricio comes up, we'll see the crowd's reaction, and we'll see Mauricio and listen to Ronny Mauricio's first at-bat as a New York Met and Major League debut. Oh, yeah, explosive. Well, that's the point. That's what I was trying to make. The NBA, people follow players more in the NBA than MLB. But the NBA, with the following the players, is more of a younger generation type of thing, right? Because of, how prolific the video games are now and how there's no loyalty with teams but more players because they're more interactive on social media, right? But the younger generation, right? I walked into Citi Field against the Angels, right? And the large Japanese population were all wearing Ohtani jerseys, right? Do you think and Angel Ohtani jerseys? Do you think they're Angels fans? No. Just like they weren't Seattle Mariner fans when Ichiro played there. They were Ichiro fans. And I think the younger fan base, the younger fan base are more player driven than team driven. Right? If there's a 6-year-old that is a diehard fan of Pete Alonso, loves Pete Alonso, and the Mets trade him to Milwaukee, I guarantee you that kid's gonna have a hard time loving the Mets and probably will put on a Brewer jersey. And if Pete Alonso ends up being there 8 years, he might be 20 years old and become a Brewers fan. That's the point of that. And I think that's the whole factor when it comes to the Mets in general. I root for the team. I don't care who's on the team, right? Why were the Mets so good last year? Was it because of their homegrown talent, or was it because their pitching staff, which was a lot, was acquired, outstanding, right? Scherzer was damn good for the majority of the year, right? Bassett, Walker, Carrasco, right? Those guys were a big part of why the Mets were so good. The Martes of the world was one of the best players on the team last year, right? He was acquired. Canna had big games for us, acquired. So, you want homegrown talent? Absolutely. It's always nice to win when you have homegrown talent. If you win a championship with a couple of pieces that were homegrown, that's always great. That makes the story better. But it's not the end all be all. And if you're gonna not be a Mets fan if they trade Pete Alonso, you were never a Mets fan. You were a player. You were a fan of that player that happened to play for the Mets. All right, guys. So the game's about to start. Let me change it over to game day viewing, and we will be ready to go. Give me a second, and we'll be ready to go, guys. Put up the volume. Again, the game is on Apple TV. Let me just situate this a little bit. Go. All right, guys. So a little different look. I got a wider screen with the game day. So here we go, guys. Mets, Mariners, game 135 of the season. 1 month to go in the Mets season. Let's see. What do we have to look forward to, right? The young players. Let's see what happens, guys, and see if the Mets can be a spoiler against the Mariners. Even though I would like the Mariners to make the playoffs because I like their team. But we'll see. Here we go, guys. Apple TV, first pitch of the game.
He had it working in that last start where he struck out 10 in 6 2/3 innings. J.P. Crawford leads off tonight. Swings at the first pitch. A hearty cut at it, but he fouled it off against Senga. Crawford with 12 homers. That includes a handful of leadoff home runs this year. 3 in the month of August alone. What a month it was. The Mariners winning 21 games in August, a franchise record in any month for them.
Remarkable. Our service never wavered about this lineup. And we talked about it at the beginning of the season, how some guys need to be able to step up. It's a little cold as far as their lineup. Now they're starting to get contributions besides guys like Nimo.
Swing and a miss, and that is nasty from Kodai Senga.
You got to check
All right.
that ball ain't gonna move like that.
Strike one. That's strike three. 1 out.
Excellent depth change with that.
Woo.
And it's all about the arm motion. So the hitter
Doing a scorecard today
that's what's the-
because Ronny Mauricio's first game. I like to do the scorecard for players that first played the game, MLB debut. Here's Rodriguez, who's been red hot.
1 out. Here's Julio Rodriguez, who takes ball 1. Rodriguez, a 13-game hitting streak. He has 32 hits in his last 62 at-bats. That doesn't even seem real. Two balls, no strikes. How conscious are you as a pitcher of how good a hitter has been in a small window?
You have to circle him in the lineup because obviously he's the catalyst, but he still has enough lights-out power to be able to beat you with one swing. So you have to be very careful. Not allow him to do that.
Pops this one up towards shallow right field. DJ Stewart coming in, bit of a late break, but now he slows to make the catch. And Rodriguez flies out. 2 up, 2 down at the top of the first.
Look at this stat pass right here. Just talking about Senga and Marshall. And the one thing we already talked about is that fourth ball, but he throws a plethora of pitches. But the 14 fastball always has to play go around anywhere from 93 to 96 miles an hour, depending on how well he feels. And that cutter keeps him off.
Once again, guys, Mariners Mets live play-by-play here on Apple TV. Watching Mariners Mets. Make sure you hit on that like button.
Eugenio Suarez takes ball 1. Senga has had a ridiculous 60% whiff rate on that ghost fourth this year. It has accounted for 90 of his 165 strikeouts on the year.
Yeah, I think Mets fans can remember when the Mets made the World Series going on that playoff run. How many Mets hats did you see people wearing around New York City? You've seen a ton. They weren't real Mets fans because you never see that.
Look, showing off the brains about this, his work ethic, his personality, and really just trying to protect him. And it's hard to protect an all-star when he's a young rookie in this league, but load management is critical, and also just trust and eye and building a relationship between the pitcher and the manager and the pitcher. You know what I'm saying? We're going to trust each other to be able to keep each other healthy.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Eugenio Suarez. As far as Japanese-born pitchers go in their first year in the States, well, Hideo Nomo sets the bar in terms of strikeouts, punching out 236 in 1995. Check swings, always held up. Suarez strikes out a lot. The Mariners do as a team, second most strikeouts in all of baseball.
That was the problem in the first half of the season. They didn't have a run production because every time they came up with runs in scoring position, Julio wasn't hitting the cover off the ball, and they put a lot of pressure on Hernandez, Suarez, and swing and miss is hurt them. So they lost a lot of close ball games. Now it's going to get productivity from the guys.
Suarez stays alive. He has struck out 173 times this year. You see the
Easy, no, but that's the whole point about rotations, right? I mean, they got a solid rotation, but nothing special. But all you need now is solid rotations. You don't need, you need that one guy that's pretty dominant, but other than that, that's it.
3-2 to Suarez.
And he strikes him out.
Senga goes for it again. He gets 2 strikeouts. So 1, 2, 3. Top of the first against baseball's hottest team.
All right, guys. You can listen to Apple TV while they're in some type of commercial. I'll be right back.
Chevy Silverado has what it takes to do it all. With up to 13 camera views and the C71 off-road package. Any truck can help you make a living. This one helps you build a life. Chevy Silverado.
It's the BetMGM offer of the week. Get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. For all the games this weekend, have your picks, parlays, and popcorn ready, and turn any game into a must-watch. Download the BetMGM app and it's on.
I gotta make time for you. I gotta make time for you. Find your me time. I gotta make time for me. Whoa, that's good.
MLB The Show Legend Line. Ready to play? Let's get it. Come on. Nice. That was sick. Man, you like that? Check out the new Storylines mode where you can play as one of the Negro League baseball legends.
Your voice sounds familiar. Do I know you?
Just call me the captain.
I made it easy for everyone.
That starting lineup as we see Brandon Nimo head to home plate, brought to you by MLB The Show 23, the New York lineup featuring Pete Alonso has already hit 185 home runs in his short career. It's already the 5th most in Mets history. The Polar Bear currently with an MLB The Show 23 player rating of 87. Alonso batting in the cleanup spot, maybe tonight to hit his 40th home run of the year. There's a strike to Brandon Nimo from Logan Gilbert, who has been on some roll for the Mariners.
He's been absolutely outstanding, especially over his last 10 starts, 7 and open a 2.8 ERA. You know the split finger is coming, but he's found love for that slider, getting the depth change down in his own.
Nimo's had a career high in home runs this year. He's hit 19. First year of a nice long contract for Brandon Nimo. They'll keep him in a Mets uniform for many years to come. For all the talk about transition years or whatever 2024 might bring for the Mets, they still have some core players under contract for next year, including all four at the top of their order. Nimo, Lindor, McNeil, and Alonso all signed for next year. And three of those guys signed for next year and beyond. As Nimo cracks one toward right center, Rodriguez a good jump to get to the gap and make the catch to retire Brandon Nimo low end.
So this that cat. Big time arm of Logan Gilbert. Fastball, the four seam is always going to play anywhere from 96 to 98 miles an hour. You see the knuckle curve and the slider. He loves to change out high level, which is very important. But the split finger for me is my favorite pitch that falls down. I like what I see here. He gets a lot of chasing this down to the zone off that fastball.
All right, guys. Sorry about that.
Google Cloud for Logan Gilbert facing Francisco Lindor. There's ball one. Lindor has had a nice year overall. He's turned it on over the last month. Look up at wins above replacement leaders around Major League Baseball. He is pretty high up the list. There's that good slider from Gilbert, a pitch that's really been working for him, as Scott Service said.
It's a beautiful thing when you have talent, and all of a sudden you get an aha moment as far as the pitch grip, and you like that depth change down with the slider.
Lindor with a fly ball to shallow center field. Rodriguez charges in for this one and retires Lindor. So 2 up, 2 down for Gilbert in the bottom of the first. Julio Rodriguez missed a couple of games recently with what they were calling a nerve issue in his left foot.
I think the foot's fine. I think that foot's fine. Gives a little smile, said, yeah. I could get back on that jump, but I can get there.
All right, quick 2 outs.
Jeff McNeil goes after the first pitch and fouls it. Suarez will run for it, but unable to get there as it falls into the seats. No balls and a strike on McNeil. Jeff McNeil was the batting champion in the National League last year. It's 265 this year. Sometimes McNeil, a guy who puts the ball in play a lot, sometimes they just don't fall as he tries to dunk them in and not going through the infield. Sometimes they get caught.
You look at the offensive struggles from the Mets, and he kind of took a step back. And he's putting the ball in play, hitting the ball in ball fields, and continuing to set the table for the pulling grip protection.
Alonso on deck. The Mets really have not had much contribution from a guy they thought they were going to count on a lot, Starling Marte, this year.
Yeah, easy. I think Vlad Guerrero, I believe the Mets were concerned about his back. And then he went to the Angels and, just mashed.
Last year, now that he's not healthy, that's a big blow to this Mets offense.
Yeah, I think Griffey declined to trade to the Mets, but he said it after he retired that it was a mistake because, when he looks back at it, he should have approved that trade. So, and that's a base hit up the middle for McNeil. First hit of the game for the Mets.
Here at the bottom of the first with a man up.
That's what McNeil last year. He did not only cover the fastball, but recognize the breaking ball mid-flight and short and swing. It's important to give Pete Alonso 4 or 5 bats a game. The more often you do that, the more often you're going to shake hands.
McNeil, like Lindor, over the last month has been good. 314 the average for McNeil since August 1st. Well, August 20th was the last time Pete Alonso hit a home run. It's been 40 plate appearances as he's in search of home run number 40. There's ball one from Logan.
Pete Alonso is 1 home run away from the 40 home run club. Got a month to go. No, it's pretty. If he has a really good month of September, could hit 50.
Last 3 starts. One strike on Alonso, 39 home runs. That's the second most in the National League, only behind Matt Olson. He's third in the National League with his 96 runs batted in. Well, the average isn't as high as it usually is. He's still hitting homers. He's still driving in runs.
Well, I think the average can be affected, especially how the offense started to sputter. And a lot like Julio Rodriguez in the first half of the season, as a star player, you try to chase out of the zone to create things because you feel like if you don't do damage, the ball club's not going to win.
Daniel Vogelback on deck as the count gets to a ball and 2 strikes. There's ball 2 to Alonso, his second longest home run drought of the year. One in July where he went 55 plate appearances without a home run. He's at 40 right now.
See, when he's locked in, that ball's barreled forward. Split finger by Gilbert staying up in his own belt high. Those trouble for a pitcher. You cannot miss, especially in the swing count. You can see that inner half too, and Pete Alonso just gets a tap it quick. Got that foot down early, pulling the hands through, but he's locked in. You're not getting that baseball back.
Yeah, I believe it was Mendick got sent down. All right, 2-2 count on Pete. Man on first, 2 outs, no score. Alonso looking for his 40th home run. Ground ball, foul.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. After the first inning, pretty good for Logan Gilbert.
Well, the split finger release is very important. Where you want to throw the ball and the depth change. So that's why he's trying to figure out. And sometimes you make mistakes in swinging from the count. So you can see the 2-2 count causes the hitter to want to protect. And you can't make mistakes on the hard zone. Also, the slider command is key. Once you settle your heart rate in, he seems to be fine.
Fastball on the inside corner, bottom of the zone. Nasty pitch from Gilbert to get his first strikeout.
All right, so Pete Alonso strikes out in the first inning. No score going to the top of the second. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on. All right, there we go, guys. So there we go. All right, let me just finish up my scorecard. And we probably have to, well, depending on if the Mets rally a little bit, we'll have to wait until the 3rd inning to get Ronny Mauricio his first plate appearance. Yeah, KT, listen, I wasn't going to do it because I do got to work pretty early into the night. I got to be at work at 11. So I wasn't going to do it, but then again, I didn't realize it was on Apple TV until earlier today when I was at work. So I'm like, you know what? The hell with that. I'm like, I'm going to go live because I know a lot of people either don't have Apple TV or don't want to bother listening to or watching Apple TV in general. Some people don't have it and just don't care to watch it. So I was like, let me just do the live stream. You can interact with each other and stuff like that. So I think that's the cool thing. Yeah. So once again, guys, I'll be in Minnesota next week. Again, if you haven't heard yesterday when on the Mets off day report, the live stream I did, I am doing a Cowboys channel. So the first video is going to be up on Sunday. It's going to be, basically the season preview for the Cowboys, the roster cuts, the final roster, the week 1 preview against the Giants Sunday Night Football, and all that fun stuff. So I will be doing that. The first video will be on Sunday. And then when I go to Minnesota, Saturday I'm going to the game. Friday and Saturday I'm going to the Mets game. Sunday I'm going to the Vikings week 1 game against the Buccaneers. So because I'm in Minnesota, why not go to US Bank Stadium and check out the Vikings game? Why not, right? It's football. So the game is at, I think, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Well, 12 o'clock Minnesota time. So it's 1 o'clock in New York, but 12 o'clock. And then I'll probably, and the Cowboys play at night. So I'll do a live stream from my hotel on my Cowboys channel to, watch the game with everybody. So subscribe to the channel. It's called The Cowboys Report. Let me just get the link and I'll put it in the chat. Ground ball should be an easy out, and it is.
Well, 38-15 in a stretch where they've been unreal since the beginning of July. Will flip things around. The Mariners have gone 29-9 in their last 38 games.
So let me just put the Cowboys channel that I'm doing.
down this rollover this that time of year. But this is
All right, give me a second, guys.
lineup that can do damage when they score the baseball and play forward.
Teoscar Hernandez really struggled in the first half. He has also had a huge month of August. Hit 365 with 16 extra base hits and 22
Easy,
RBIs
yeah,
in
I
August.
know.
Now, around the trade deadline, Jerry Dipoto basically said about Hernandez, well, if we trade him, he might go somewhere and hit a big home run. We want him to hit a big home run for us. Really, since then, he's done nothing but hit home runs and doubles for the Seattle Mariners. Balls and a strike on Hernandez here. Getting back to what Heidi was saying, it's very rare that three teams are within a game.
There you go, guys. The link is there.
It's so rare. It's never happened in the American League. It has happened twice in the National League. 1969, the first year of divisional play, the Giants were a half game ahead of both the Dodgers and the Reds at the beginning of September.
Nice pitch.
None of those teams won the division. Atlanta won the division in 1969, as Mets fans well know. Mets beat the Braves in the first ever National League Championship Series. Then in 1980, it was the Pirates in first place by a half game over the Expos.
Give me a
and
second, guys.
Philly won the division that year, and then eventually their first World Series. That's the model the Seattle Mariners are hoping to follow, trying to win their first World Series.
And he swings, strike three. Third strikeout already.
There's too much to cover, especially the ability to don't slide for a strike. He tunnels everything out.
I like Dak Prescott. I just need to see him do it in a big game. That's what I don't want. That's what I need to see from him. Just give me a second, guys. I'm gonna put the link up for the channel. Just give me 1 second.
Senga strikeouts in the early going. Here's Dominic Canzone. Canzone came over from Arizona as an unusual trade. The Mariners felt that their bullpen was a position of strength, so they traded their closer, Paul Sewald, to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Out back Canzone is part of that deal. Josh Rojas, the second baseman as well. And as Canzone pops out, and Ronny Mauricio.
Hey, a nice ovation for Mauricio making the pop-up catch. And we're going to the bottom of the second. No score. So far, so good for Senga. The Mets will have 5, 6, 7. Vogelback, Stewart, Alvarez. All right, guys, just give me a second. I'm going to send the link in the chat. It should pop up very, very, very shortly, I think. I believe. Possibly. Let me just there we go. All right, guys. So if you're a football fan, don't worry, guys. You know, I'm very fair as a baseball fan. Yes, my Mets bias comes out, but I'm usually fair when it comes to other teams. I'm going to do the same thing for football, right? I'm not one of those. Look, I hate the Giants because I'm a Cowboys fan. Obviously, we're in the same division, right? But I'm fair as well, right? I'm also very fair. Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I'm a Knicks fan. Again, I'm only trust me, there's a lot of people who live in New York that are Cowboy fans. I mean, around the country, for example. Again, I grew up in a household that had Jets and Giants fans. My mother was a Bears fan, right? My dad's a Jet fan. Most of my family are Giant fans, right? But my grandfather was a huge Cowboys fan, and I was always by him on Sunday, right? And I used to watch football with him, and he would not put anything else on but Cowboys football. So that's what I grew up when I was a kid. It is what it is, right? So once again, guys, the link is in the stream, in the chat right now for my Cowboys channel. Again, if you're a football fan, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it if you do. Again, Sunday will be my I'll put up a season preview live stream. I'll be doing it obviously from here. Again, the background's going to look like a couple of Mets things, but I do have a few Cowboy stuff that I bought that I'm going to put back here so it looks a little bit more visually pleasing for football fans. So I do appreciate everybody who's subbing. Again, it is a Cowboys channel, but I'm not going to be one of those biased fans and just say I hate every team and who cares about anybody else. I'm not that type of way. And believe me, I'm going to speak glowingly about the Giants because I think they're a very good team. All right, so here we go. Vogelback is up. Bottom of the second, no score. Paula, are you a Jets fan? If you hate the Dolphins, or you might be a Bills fan. Christo, anytime. Thank you.
What's that noise mean?
Here it is. Here it is. That's the one thing about Gilbert. I always like watching him pitch because he trusts his fastball. Everything plays off that fastball. He's not shy about it, especially with that really long release point. He gets on top of it very quickly.
KTU, yeah, it was you, but it was other people as well. Like when I went to the Met game on Sunday with my coworkers, there was a couple of people that knew me from the channel that was saying, "Oh, thanks for just saying what's up, cool to meet you and all that stuff." And they were like, "Yo, you should do a football channel, Cowboys channel," and these are Giant fans. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, strike three call, looking for Vogelback.
Passive hitter. He lets a lot of pitches go by. He strikes out looking here in the mid-bottom of the second.
So yes, and listen, guys, if you're as a Giants fan, if you are them, the Cowboys got the Giants week 1 and the Jets in week 2. So I will be. You'll probably hate me by the end of week 2. So all right, here comes the powerful DJ Stewart, who's become a fan favorite rather quickly, and a guy who has shown that could be a part of this 2024 roster going forward. 8 home runs since August 15th.
He's found a home in right field for the Mets late. It's late on that fastball from Logan Gilbert.
In 378 over his last 13 games with 8 home runs and 15 RBIs. So they trusted in the bottom order.
Paula, I figured you were one of those AFC East fans.
Runs the other day, then one walk-off RBI. He was hit by a pitch against the Texas Rangers. There's been a string of games against AL West opponents for the Mets. Here's DJ Stewart's big night at City Field a couple nights ago.
I you know what? I might even actually. I believe the Jets. Let me check. I'm curious. Very curious, actually. Let's see. Easy, a Raider fan. Yeah, I get it.
City Field. Show that you love today, Weezy.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Stewart. I appreciate this fan base.
Absolutely.
Great place to be. There's a DJ too. I didn't catch his name earlier, but he's a DJ and he's the Friday night DJ here.
It sounded like Friday night when we was trying to do the open. I didn't know. I thought I was in Queens. No, you in Midtown the way they was rocking and rolling back there. But they keep the atmosphere fun. And as an opponent, I always love playing here because the fans are so knowledgeable and it's passionate.
Oof.
DJ Stewart strikes out, so Logan Gilbert has struck out 3 in a row. Right now, we'll send it back to our studio for an update.
Randy Arozarena hits a 2-run homer, I think. Nope. Just missed it.
RBI doubly stretches it into a triple.
Cleveland Guardians/Angels after the Guardians picked up 3 Angel players off waivers yesterday. Lucas Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez, and Matt Moore all found new homes in Cleveland.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about me and my dad going to Dallas for the Jet game in week 2, but I decided against that. It's not a cheap trip. All right, let's see what Alvarez can do. 2 outs in the second, no score.
Showed plenty of power. He's hit 21 home runs this year, although just 1 since August 1st.
Well, Eric, you're a Mariners fan. That's cool. Yeah. Right now he's still going through the rehab process. He's actually throwing on the mound. He was throwing like 95, 96. There's some talk that he might be back for like the last week of the season. So we'll see. Wow, the microphones are loud on Apple. You hear the planes going by City Field.
Logan Gilbert
Yeah, when I went to the game on Sunday, he was. I was at the game early. I had early access, and he was He was throwing a bullpen session. I saw it because if you ever been to City Field, it's called the bullpen gate where you can walk in, but when you wait online, you can see the bullpen. He was actually throwing pitches, and you heard the pop of the glove, so he was throwing pretty hard.
Young starters continue to churn out.
Yep, the NFC and the AFC East play each other this year, and go figure, right? It's very tough divisions, so it's not going to be easy.
Their offense has been lately.
Alvarez, that's what I want to see from Alvarez. There you go, 2-out hit. I like that. Up the middle. Want to see more of that from Alvarez. Hasn't hit a home run since Kansas City. That was the beginning of August in Kansas City. But I want to see him hit the ball up the middle, put the bat on the ball, short up the swing. All right. Brett Beatty gets on. Ronny Mauricio will come up. Baby Mets back to back to back. Woo. Now, Brett Beatty in the minors, when he went sent back down, hasn't hit for average in AAA, but was hitting for power.
So will Ronny Mauricio. He's on deck, ready to make his major league debut. Ball one strike on Beatty. All of those young Mets, at least these three, are 23 years old and younger.
KTO, I agree.
Roster as well, a little older than those guys. But
Eric, yes, it is. 3 in a row, actually. Alvarez, Beatty, Mauricio. Ooh, nice curveball. World Series prediction: Mets Yankees. No, I'm joking. I really want to see Baltimore in the World Series and to face anybody but the Dodgers or the Braves. And Beatty strikes out looking for the final out of the inning, and Ronny Mauricio has to wait one more inning to get his first plate appearance. No score going into the top of the third. One hit, no errors, one left on. Mets left on 2 guys so far in the game. Alan, it's on Apple TV. So listen, yeah, and it's supposed to. That's another reason why I'm so pissed off with the Mets season, because the National League, besides the Braves and the Dodgers, is absolute garbage. And I think anybody in the National, I think it's wide open. Again, it's easy to say the Braves and the Dodgers are the 2 favorites in the NL. Obviously, right? It seems like it's a collision course for the NLCS with those 2 teams. But how many times have we seen teams that were going into the best teams in their league and don't make it to the World Series, right? We've seen it time and time again, so Mariners Braves would be interesting. But again, you see, everybody's picking the Braves, and we go back to this, and I fight with Brave fans all the time. Like, they have 17 division titles since they became a part of the NL East, right? They've been extremely dominant in the NL East, right? In 33 years, 32 years, 30 years or so, they have 2 championships, right? They've won a lot of divisions, and there was a lot of times when they were one of the better teams in baseball, and they didn't win the World Series. And this is when there wasn't or there was just one wild card team, or when there was no wild card teams, and you had to win your division, and there was less road to the World Series, right? And teams get picked off a lot of times. Again, it's not easy to win World Series, right? The back-to-backs are rare. The dynasty like the Yankees, 4 out of 5 years is very rare, right? The Giants, 3 out of 5 years is very rare. There hasn't been a back-to-back world champion in baseball since the Yankees, 99-2000. So let's see, third inning, top of the third, no score.
A wild ride to the finish line it's going to be as Ty France leads off here in the third. because the Mariners
Yeah,
last
I mean,
10
most
games
American League
regular
teams
season
don't have really good pitching.
against the
Even the
Rays,
National League,
Rams,
like, look at the Dodgers. Who are they throwing out there every fifth day? Even the Braves, Strider, Elder, Freed. Freed has been bad in the playoffs since he's been a Brave, since he's came up. Elder, you don't know yet. Spencer Strider, I know he was hurt last postseason, but he didn't look pitch well either. But, he's a guy that, strikes out a ton, but can have those games where he blows up. It's going to be very interesting. Oh, gee, I know. I tell you, and look, Beatty was mad at that call, but it was a strike.
National League, 3 teams have gone longer. The Pirates,
Yeah, easy, and that's the other thing too. It's, in the playoffs, anybody can beat anybody. All you need is a hot team at the right time to face you, like the Braves caught the Phillies last year, and look what happened.
I see you go with it. I see. But this group, though, like, you always want to be part of a team that changed it all. They broke that postseason curse, and you saw the joy not only from their locker room, but from the fans.
Well, Eric, hey, for a fan base that never had a World Series title, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. I mean, imagine, look at all the play, the Ichiros of the world, the Griffeys. Never made the World Series. Never won the World Series. I mean, even that time when you won 100 and 13, 14 games, whatever it was, the Edgar Martinez years. It's crazy. All right. First base runner for the Mariners.
Mariners in the regular season. It's a long road trip that goes to Cincinnati and then to Tampa Bay. So they'll face a couple of contenders on this trip. They go home to play the Angels and the Dodgers. A quick trip to Oakland. Then that 10-game joyride to the finish line.
That's how you want to go as an athlete. You want to go.
KTU, he might not be. That's why people, and that's why you have to always, look at it in a different perspective with these prospects. That's what they are, prospects. But what also bringing in so many prospects as the Mets have gives them opportunities to trade them before they might not be that good, and let another team deal with problems with that.
Oakland did win one of the games. So was it a sweep, a rare loss?
Yeah, it's absolutely too early to tell, but the signs don't look good. Because, again, people, all I was getting messages, oh, look at Beatty's doing. Yeah, he was hitting home runs. He wasn't hitting for average. And even when he was hitting for average and hitting home runs prior to his first call-up this year, I don't care what the AAA numbers. He can't hit Major League pitching at this point. That's a double play ball. Mauricio, 4-6-3. Nice play by Mauricio to get the double play. Fans going crazy. He looked a little awkward making that double play, but he got the job done. And Mauricio's so big. He's a lanky. He doesn't look like a second baseman. He looks like a third baseman. Body type. But he's making the plays. That's all I want to see. Yeah, exactly, Steven.
To that point, Mauricio and Beatty or Vientos are going to make an impression here in September. It's going to have to be more defensively than offensively in the eyes of the Mets manager, Buck Showalter. Here's Josh Rojas, number 9 batter for the Mariners, playing second base. Getting back to what Scott Service said, he pointed to a grand slam by a young hitter named Cade Marlowe against the Angels. That was really the takeoff point for the Mariners this year. They had a big ninth-inning comeback against the Angels thanks to that grand slam. It was the first blown save from Carlos Estevez of the Angels this year. That propelled
Well, KTU, I said that last year.
Mariners barely lost.
When you have a team and a performance like he did last year, and this team was one of the best teams in baseball last year at the deadline, you get better. You worry about next year, because you never know. The Mets front office, even though they didn't have a lot of the players, a lot of the prospects to give away because their farm system wasn't great, it's it sucks because they could have done more. You know, not saying it would have worked out who they would have got, but yeah, Robert again. But he hasn't been good in the outfield. The trial he had in the outfield wasn't good at all, and they don't think he could play the outfield. You know, his position on this roster is second base, but you see how big he is. He doesn't look like a second baseman.
Rojas. Jacob Crawford at the top of the order behind him. Rojas dumps down one foul, keeping it 3-2.
Strike three, Cole. Alrighty, guys. So that's the end of the top of the third, and Ronny Mauricio will be leading off in the bottom of the third. And of course, as soon as they come back from commercial, I wonder if Apple TV is going to stay up. They're going to go through the commercial, and then once they come back, we'll listen to the crowd for the first time. Ronny Mauricio. I wish they would have been on SNY because SNY might have stayed without a commercial, but once he comes up. We'll hear the fan reaction and see him for the first time in the Citi Field batter's box. If you're a Mets fan, you are excited about this. We heard Ronny Mauricio was a guy you heard of for, 4 years now? Probably 5. I mean, he was very young when the Mets signed him as an international free agent. So we're going to see, guys. Yeah, KT, remember that? People were getting, you can't trade your prospects. Yes, you can. The majority of the prospects are for trading, right? If everybody talks about McNeil, Alonso, Nimo as your core, those are the prospects that worked out. That's your core. You don't need 3 other top prospects to come up and be a part of this team. It's not that much of a necessity when you have a top 3 core that you just gave contracts to, and pretty sure Alonso's going to get one. So you gave Alonso, McNeil, and Nimo long-term deals. That's something that you're counting those three guys are your core. Build around that with better players. Who knows what would have happened if the Mets would have traded Beatty for maybe a better bat and maybe a little bit more pitching, or somebody else traded another prospect for more pitching, or bullpen arms and another bat. Who knows? Not saying it would have worked out, but you just never know. But they didn't. It felt like they took last year for granted and thought they were just good enough as basically what they were, and get, Ruff and Vogel back and Naquin, and thought that was going to be enough with Givens in the bullpen. It wasn't enough, right? The team broke down. Yeah, Alan, the core might not be good enough, but the Mets are falling on that sword. You already signed Nimo and McNeil, and pretty sure are going to sign Alonso. All right, here you go, guys. Mauricio is up.
For Ronny Mauricio as he makes his first major league plate appearance. Good year
Let's see what he can do.
AAA Syracuse. Mauricio getting his first opportunity in the big leagues tonight. Gilbert starts him off with a strike. Only 5 Mets have ever homered in their first big league at bat. Ronny Mauricio's family hoping he can be number 6. Number 5 was last year. Brett Beatty did it in Atlanta. Mauricio certainly has plenty of power to turn one around here at Citi Field.
Well, KTU, that's Pete Alonso's buddy. I think that's a big reason why.
Most young players want to be aggressive early in the count. He's just getting a feel of just what Gilbert can do.
Pitch there from Gilbert. He can do that.
Nasty breaking ball.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Mauricio. 22 years old, signed in 2017 for over $2 million. Time the most the Mets had ever spent on an international player broke Ahmed Rosario's record, although Francisco Alvarez later broke Mauricio's record in the Mets organization. The most money given to an international player. I suppose now Senga's broken all of those records. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ronny Mauricio. 20 homers, over 20 steals in the minor leagues.
Yeah, K2. But those guys can change positions too, but they also trade bait.
He was very wiry early on.
Woo! Oh, there you go. That's his first major league hit. That's a first hit, and it's a double. 117 miles an hour off the bat. Wow. There you go. Woohoo! That was a shot. You heard that off the bat. Woo! There you go. Ronny. Hey, first at bat, first hit in Major League Baseball. Good job.
There's no monetary value for that.
Hardest hit ball by a New York Met this year. 117 miles an hour off the bat. Leadoff double.
Mauricio putting on a show. That first big league hit a 117-mile-an-hour double over the head of Tasker Hernandez.
He got a little bit more under that ball. That ball would have been 450 feet. There you go, Jay.
Spent more time in Anaheim and getting that move all the time.
I saw the dents in there. I wasn't happy about that. Yeah, he put a glove on.
Walker to second. Logan Gilbert has the bases empty. Opponent's matches 215 against him. And in scoring position, it jumps to 264.
Some of these prospects like Alvarez and Beatty and Mauricio, sometimes the organization
Paula, it's on Apple TV today.
gives their players a chance to be able to get about 30, 40, 50 at-bats under their belt to see how they handle being a big leaguer playing every single day. And so I like what I see from this young talented Mets lineup, especially at the bottom of the lineup. And you talked about earlier having core pieces already signed.
Well, you got to find out what you have with Vientos and Alvarez. And they've really found out with Alvarez all year, but especially Vientos, Beatty, and Mauricio.
And Nimo strikes out.
That is the fifth strikeout for Gilbert. He gets the first out here in the third.
So let me just give you guys. So obviously the Vogelback was club exercise for his arbitration 2 for 1.5 million. He's on arbitration 3 next year for the Mets. So the Mets could bring him back and exercise that extra year if they want to bring him back. And then he's arbitration 3 eligible, but also an unrestricted free agent, whatever that means. So technically, he's a free agent. So at some point, I think the Mets have the rights to sign him early on, and then I think it's like a 2-week period after the World Series, and then it can be an unrestricted free agent. And that's ground ball right to the second baseman. Mauricio goes to third, and there's 2 outs. McNeil up.
Second baseman, his first big league at bat. Only been able to move about 90 feet between Nimo and Lindors, and now Jeff McNeil will back with 2 outs.
Tell you what, between James Alvin and Dylan Cruz and Mauricio, you're seeing these rookies come with size and speed.
Hey, I would switch DJ Stewart. I would trade DJ Stewart for Vogelback. If you want DJ Stewart to be a part of this team, I would replace Stewart with Vogelback. At least Stewart can play the field.
Look at their numbers in the minor leagues, not only being able to be impactful with their legs, but hit the ball with authority.
Mauricio certainly did that. 117 off the bat of Ronny Mauricio. Now Jeff McNeil with 2 outs and Mauricio at third.
And first pitch. And that is the end of the inning. The Mets do not score. After a leadoff double by their rookie phenom prospect Mauricio, and the Mets do not score and leave another man on base. 3 innings in a row. Mets do not score. Top of the fourth coming up. So Ronny Mauricio gets his first hit of his MLB career, MLB debut, first at bat, first hit is a double, and it was the hardest hit ball for New York Mets in 2023 at 117 miles an hour. You see the how that ball jumped off his bat, right? Again, you're not going to go crazy with just one at bat, but you see the skills he has, right? He has that raw talent. You can't call him a 5-2 player because he's not really good at any defensive position, but you just got to hope, right? If you hit just like Daniel Murphy, just like Lucas Duda, you're going to find a position for them somewhere, right? It's just that simple, right? Second base seems like the logical choice, and I think that's why Buck Showalter and the organization thinks second base. Again, you see how big and tall he is at second base. He doesn't look like a second baseman at all. He looks like more of a third baseman, outfielder type of guy, corner outfielder. But, again, you're not putting him at third most likely because of Beatty. Again, if Beatty starts to look better at the plate and defensively, he'll probably be out third baseman. Again, that could change really quickly. Mauricio might be out third baseman and Beatty might go to the left field. You never know. But, you just have to look at it, see what the Mets are going to do. But second base seems like the place where they like him the best at the moment. But that can change in the offseason, right? If they don't think Brett Beatty is going to be what they think he's going to be, Mauricio might take that third base spot. And if Beatty might be in the trade in the offseason, or the Mets might believe him to be a left fielder. He's played left field in the minors, and he plays well in left field. He's a more than serviceable left fielder, and he has a good arm as well, which helps. So we shall see. Hey, Christina, how you doing? Well, hopefully you're getting better, and hopefully you weren't a part of that hurricane that flew by Florida. I don't know where you are in Florida, but hopefully you've been okay. But I'm glad you're feeling better. All right, here we go. Top of the fourth, no score.
Excited should Mets fans be about this kid?
I think the right fielder didn't quite look at the exit velocity, right? No, it was, I don't care who you are, what kind of season's going on. You don't take a moment there and realize what I was looking at some tape last night of him as a 17-year-old. You know how fawns look like when they first come out?
That might be gone. And that is a leadoff home run for J.P. Crawford.
Meanwhile, this Mariners team, one of the hottest teams in baseball. What's impressed you by them?
Well, they pitch well. They don't strike well. It's kind of a blueprint of what you have to do to be successful pitching-wise. And
1-0 Mariners.
Hats off to them. But I know there's some teams counting on us playing them tough.
While that was happening, J.P. Crawford has delivered a home run to lead off at the top of the fourth. Mariners have taken a 1-0 lead on the Mets.
Yeah, he's gotten more aggressive this year. I think he's changed his mentality. He's trying to pull the ball, especially early in the count.
Now Rodriguez to the ground, past Beatty down the third base line.
Oh,
Rodriguez with a big turn.
going for two. And he got him. Yeah. Good play.
Rodriguez spinning for extra bases, cut down by Jeff McNeil.
Love this on both sides of the ball, especially after the home run. J-Rock gets aggressive. He gives the peek up as he comes.
Good job by McNeil and a nice tag by Mauricio.
Awesome job going to one homer, and Mauricio being able to pick that cleanly and understand where J-Rock was.
1 out. Good job.
On the bag as well. That was critical. That was fun to watch.
1 out. Suarez looks at a strike. J.P. Crawford with a home run to start this inning. His 13th of the season. Crawford has muscled up this year.
KTU, I think Gilbert is on the fast track because he is the outfielder and he's one of the ones that are closest to come up. He might get a chance at the left field position. I mean, if I'm the Mets, I move Gilbert to center field and Nimo to left field. I think Nimo is a dynamic left fielder. He would be an excellent left fielder. Elite left fielder, Nimo. And I like Nimo in left field because he has no arm. But Nimo, as good as he's been defensively in center field, I think he can be elite left fielder. And Gilbert's a bona fide center fielder who has great range. And I think you can give him center field. So I think Gilbert. But Luis Angel Acuna could be a guy as well.
This is leadership, and obviously, the local infielder, he's important too to be able to take
Offensive, I know, buddy. I know. That's why I went live today and did a stream. Even though you're listening to Apple TV, it's at least you can interact with fans and not just watch Apple TV and be in your own head and talk about how much they're not that good. It could be worse, right? It could be worse. It could be ESPN. Strike 3. 2 outs. 5 strikeouts for Senga in the first 4 innings.
22-year-old Hill Fast Lane. He gave a couple peeks. He said, I'm going to challenge him to try to make a baseball play. And Mauricio was outstanding. Usually in bang-bang play, the second baseman doesn't apply the tag in the right spot, and the runner can avoid it. But again, that's veteran savvy from the second baseman Mauricio to really slow down the game and know exactly where he was trying to tag the base and beat him there.
Does extend the hitting streak for Rodriguez to 14 games with that base hit. Mauricio's had a couple plays to show what he can do defensively. He's passed the test so far.
And that's a base hit. Senga's getting hit hard in this inning.
I like Cal Raleigh. I do. His power. One of the best hitting catchers quietly in the game. Getting his foot down early. Doesn't take much for him to generate power. Kind of a quiet leader in that clubhouse.
There's a long fly ball off the bat. Teoscar Hernandez as Nimo goes back shy of the track. He'll get there. Hernandez just missed. But J.P. Crawford did not. His home run.
All right, so 1-0 Mariners going into the bottom of the fourth on a J.P. Crawford solo home run. And you see this a lot, right? The Mariners are one of the highest strikeout teams in baseball, but they've pitched extremely well, solid pitching. They don't have great pitching. They got solid pitching. And again, that's what I keep on talking about for everybody who is up in arms about the Mets rotation. You need that one guy probably to be that you go out there every 5th day and says you can get a win. I mean, there's no reason why that can't be Senga. You know, you could still look for a guy like Corbin Burns in a trade in this offseason. Maybe a guy like Julio Urias, a guy like that could be your ace. But you need solid pitching. Give me, right? The Mets last year, remember, we didn't have 6 weeks of Scherzer and a half a season without DeGrom. The Mets did not have an ace basically for half the season. And you were rolling out Chris Bassett, who, you know, is a very good number 3, you know, was basically our ace for a while, but he's a bona fide number 3 starter. A solid, really damn good number 3. And then you had David Peterson and McGill pitching along with Carrasco and Walker. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they pitched, there was solid pitching. I mean, nobody was like ace like stuff, but they got the job done. And I think we need more solid pitching. We need a guy that knows that can go out there every 5th day, can give you innings, can give you a solid start, right? You know how much bullpens are important. I think you need to focus a lot on the bullpen, bulk up the bullpen, and get solid starting pitching. Give me a guy that can throw 6 innings almost every time out, and you know the occasional 7-8 innings and 2 runs or something like that, because that's what you see around baseball. Name me a rotation for a team that's probably going to be in the playoffs that you're scared of. There's not many, if at all. They're very good, solid, but nothing scary, right? How many last year and this year? That's all you heard in the offseason before the season started. You don't want to get the Mets in a short series with their rotation. How did that work out for the Mets? All right, Pete Alonso's up, leading off. The bottom of the fourth, 1-0 Mariners.
split fingers to try to slow him down and really get
I know, John. A lot of people don't. That's why I did a stream. For the people who don't have Apple TV or don't want to bother getting Apple TV.
Against Logan Gilbert for the second time today.
And Alonso hits one hard, but right at the shortstop. One out.
We send it to Heidi One Day was with Scott Service in between innings for our manager interview presented by Sage.
Hyper Stage manager interview with Scott Service. Julio Rodriguez had the last couple of games with a hurt foot. Didn't look hurt there, but the aggressiveness on the base running. Your thoughts on that play?
Yeah, Hilly looks good. You know, he's running around great in the outfield. Glad to have him back. We missed him there for a couple days.
Cardai Senga and his ghost fork. It's kept you guys a little off balance today. As a former catcher, how impressed are you with that pitch?
Well, it's a heck of a pitch. Our guy's second time around, need to make an adjustment. Seems like we had picking it up a little bit earlier. Got to play off it if you can, but it's a tough pitch.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott Service, manager of the Mariners, followed by Papa.
That might stay, and he gets the out.
Pops out.
2 outs.
Scott Service overseeing the Mariners' first playoff appearance in 2 decades last year. Wasn't the manager of the year in the American League. If Seattle ends up winning the division this year, going past the Astros, going past the Rangers team that certainly spent a lot of money over the last couple of off seasons. You ought to keep Scott Service from winning that award this year.
I think he's definitely going to be able to steal some first place votes, especially with
And that was a quick inning. Another quick inning for Gilbert. Mets do not score in the bottom of the fourth. 1-0 Mariners going to the top of the fifth. Quick at-bats by a lot of these Mets. Mariners coming up in the top of the fifth. They'll have Canzone, France, and Ford. Bottom of the order. Everyone's in a hurry to get out. Hey, that works for me considering the fact that I got to go to work in about 3 hours and 20 minutes. I don't know what the hell the people are doing above me, but my Lord. They've been doing so much construction. It's insane. Like, I think they just moved in, so to the condo above me, so they've been doing a lot of work. But they start the work at like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Like, luckily, you know, usually I'm out cold mid-afternoon, knowing that I got to wake up to go to work overnight. But, man, a lot of drilling. Like, I seen them. They're good. They're nice people, but, like, goddamn. Like, relax. I think a lot. I think they work most of the day and they come home, I guess, due to work, I guess. But, you know, they're like, oh, we're sorry. I'm like, oh, it don't bother me. It's just, you know, it scares the hell out of my cat. That's for sure. Poor Shay. Shay goes nuts at night because he hears all the noise. But what are you going to do? So, once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And again, one more month of the season for our New York Mets. The last game of the season, I think, is October 1st against the Phillies, I believe. So 1 month left of Mets baseball. We're going to see a lot of the young kids play a lot. Mauricio got his first hit, big league hit. Nice to see. 117 miles an hour off the bat. Always great to see. But there's a lot to talk about because the New York Mets are going to have an offseason that's going to be talked about a lot. They got to fill a couple of spots in the rotation. They're probably going to need a left fielder, maybe. There's some talk. We don't know about Marte. You're going to keep him out the rest of the year. Let him, you know, get healthy and see if he can do something coming back. And build up the bullpen. There's going to be a lot of talking. You know, there's going to be talk about Ohtani as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's some matchups where you just
Yep, first warning sign.
It's going to be a tough one for the offense. And whoever makes a mistake, that can determine the win or loss of them.
To Dominic Canzone.
Christian, there is here too, but the owner of the building came around with their representatives and basically explained to us why they're doing it. Oh, that's gone. Oh, no. He got on top of that ball. 1 out. So, like they came around and told us, they're like, hey, there's going to be construction a little later because they're not allowed, part of our contract in this building, they nobody's allowed in your condo or apartment unless there's somebody that's on the lease or the contract in the apartment or the condo. So unfortunately, the people who own it or rent it, I'm not sure what they're doing. Owning, I'm assuming owning. They have to be there, and they don't come home until 6, 7 o'clock at night. So they told the people around the floor, around the other room, other places on the floor and below us that they're going to be construction late. So at least they told us. It doesn't bother me. I just, my cat Shay goes nuts because it's actually somewhat loud for the most part, especially in the living room. In my little YouTube room area, it's not that bad. So that's why my cat is basically on his little tree right now in here because the sound that isn't as loud with the door closed. Yeah, but Paul, last year with Marte, he got hit in the hand, right? It wasn't like this year where he had core surgery in the offseason, and that's why he's been having problems the entire year. Last year, he was one of the best players, and strike 3 by Kodai Senga, 2 outs. 6 strikeouts by Senga. So, with Marte, he was one of our best players in our offensive players in the lineup until he got hit by the pitch in Pittsburgh in September. And he missed basically almost the entire month. This year was a whole different story. We knew he was coming off double core surgery. And, that's not something to come back from when you're 33, 34 years old. So 2 outs in the top of the 5th, 1-0 Mariners on the J.P. Crawford home run in the 4th.
Team's kind of featuring a throwback look. If you close your eyes and pretend it's 2001, this could have easily been the uniform matchup.
I love both of those. I love it. I had a Mariners Griffey jersey at that color, and they had that, silvery brim up there, and the Mets black jersey.
And he strikes him out to end the inning. 7 strikeouts for Kodai Senga. Going to the bottom of the 5th. Mets trail 1-0. So Kodai Senga mowing him down. Pitching well as he seems to do lately, almost all the time. Mets will have up 7, 8, 9. Alvarez, Beatty, Mauricio. Baby, Mets. In the bottom of the 5th. So you're going to see Mauricio for a second time in 2 innings. Nice to see. Let's see if the Mets can rally here to get some game. And again, at this point, I want to be a spoiler, right? I like the Seattle Mariners. They're a fun team to watch. I love for them to make the playoffs. But it's always fun to spoil people. Met fans know very well 07, 08, how other teams spoiled our playoff hopes. And we've seen enough of that. Again, I always want to win games. I always like to see games won. I know people are talking about, the Mets are, if they're one of the 6 worst records in baseball, they get to keep their first round, that spot in the first round pick, and it doesn't drop down 10 spots. That will happen most likely, but I like to be a spoiler as well, right? In the last 2 weeks of the season, the Mets only play the Marlins and the Phillies, right? The Phillies look like they're going to be in the playoffs. They're a couple of games ahead in that first wild card, so they should be fine. But, a team like the Marlins, who've knocked out the Mets multiple years in a row and always been a thorn in the Mets side, I love to knock out the Marlins and basically knock them out of the playoff spots and not make the playoffs at all. I know they're not in right now, but they are very close. I'd rather just put them out of their misery. So Mets trail 1-0 going to the bottom of the 5th. The game's going quite quickly. If this game ends at 9:30, I'll be a happy camper. So once again, guys, I am starting the Cowboys channel for the NFL season. The first video for the season preview is going to the first live stream is for the season preview for the Cowboys is going to be Sunday. It's probably going to be at night, most likely. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. The Cowboys Report is the name of the channel. I put the channel link so you can subscribe to the channel in the chat. I'll do that again for everybody that wants to subscribe. If you're a football fan, please do. So it's going to pop up just now. And you can click on that link and be a subscriber of the channel. That might be a base hit. Ooh. Just good hustle. 1 out. So if you're a football fan or a Cowboys fan, subscribe to the channel. First video is going to go up on Sunday night live stream for the season preview for the Cowboys. Brett Beatty up. He struck out his first time up. Want to see a lot more from Brett Beatty here.
Since the 4th of July, when he threw the first complete game of his major league career, a 5-hit shutout against the Giants on July 4th. He needed 59 pitches to get through 4 1/3 innings tonight. He should have been some 3 hits, the loudest hit by the Mets, the loudest one all season, coming from the man on deck, Ronny Mauricio, making his major league debut tonight.
He's wasting no time. He's letting everybody on the Mets side know that I'm going to attack you within the strike zone. So when you're throwing strikes and you're efficient and you're still getting takes and swing and miss, that means that you have great stuff on that day.
And Brett Brady strikes out for the second time. First time looking, second time swinging. Again, this is and here comes Ronny Mauricio.
Statcast powered by Google Cloud. Exit velo for Ronny Mauricio. 117. A blast over the head of Teoscar Hernandez right.
Whoa, you see that? He hit the ball harder than the Oliver Pete Alonso. So that tells you that he's definitely has some thump and quick hands.
Great note from our research team as Ronny Mauricio looks at his swing. Hit from Mauricio, the hardest hit, first major league hit in the Statcast era, going back to 2015. Previous high belonged to Luis Robert of the White Sox, 115.8. Mauricio officially 117.3 with his.
The game weight is alive and well. Young and veteran talent, strength, speed, swagger. It's for everyone. So, love and family hope. I'm not that old, but back then my mom had a VHS. She was like, when the camera wasn't working with it in here. Take the tape out and just put it back in the VCR.
And Mauricio strikes out swinging on a breaking ball in the dirt. Quick inning for the Mets. No scoring for the Mets yet again. And we're going to the top of the 6th. 1-0 Mariners off of a J.P. Crawford home run. What are you going to do? You can't get a hit every time. But Beatty is very concerning. Again, the guy rakes in AAA, but, you've seen a lot of players hit in AAA that can hit at the big league level. Unfortunately, again, not every prospect's going to pan out. And I think that's the problem. The most important thing is to evaluate and pick the right guys you believe can be a part of your team in the future or the present that you think are going to be good or great big league players, and trade the rest for better players. That's what good teams do, right? The Braves did it. They did it with Murphy. They did it with Olsen. They made those 2 big trades. They traded, I think, around 6 or 7 of their top prospects because the prospects that are already up with them have become really good players or stars, and they were expendable. And it got them Olsen and it got them Murphy. And they got much better because of it. Snapple. I've been saying that for 2 years. I cannot freaking stand Juice Smith. I mean, Juice Smith might be more of I hate him more than I used to hate Jury's Familia. like that's how much I don't like Juice Smith. Like I went to the game on Sunday when Juice Smith gave up the go-ahead home run. Man, I mean, I know the game didn't matter, doesn't matter right now, but I even told my coworkers, "Oh, Juice Smith's gonna come in, he's gonna blow it." Sure enough, he did. Correct, Christian. Exactly. Yeah, the top six. The fact of the matter is the Mets they cannot be sent down to 10 spots if they're 6 or worse. And what was it? Oh, look at that. So Jason Dominguez, the Yankees top prospect, hits a home run in his first at bat. How about that?
The hardest hit of New York rookies in their debuts tonight. Jason Dominguez with a home run. And the Crawford bounces off of Justin Verlander. There's a base hit.
That's a leadoff base hit for Rojas.
Like Dominguez is built, you might want to have him play fullback for the Jets. I mean, he is a strong individual.
They got Aaron Rodgers now, so they're good.
Yeah, Jay. I mean, 2015 was his best year.
We'll see.
But when the going got tough in the playoffs, specifically the World Series, he blew games.
Crawford, who homered his last time, is the only run so far in this game. Crawford struck out his first time. Senga's had a boatload of strikeouts tonight. So has Logan Gilbert.
You and me both, Alien. You and me both. Not only did the game start off with Cespedes, kicking the ball in the outfield, first at bat of the game, first pitch of the game, a World Series, game 1. Familia blowing that game. Oh, God. I truly believe this. We win game 1, we win the series.
For the most part, both starters have done a good job of staying at hitter-friendly counts. 1-0, 2-1. You're really putting the hitters away efficiently.
One walk in this game was to tie France to start the third.
Oh, yep.
Check swing.
Yes, now, but I know it's been the offense, a lot this year. 2023 Mets have problems bringing in runs, especially with guys in score position less than 2 outs.
So he gets a little half swing, even though he's ahead in the count 2-1. And so always put that little thing in the back of the hitter's mind that he has the ability to not only get you to chase that, but throw that score ball for a strike as well.
Rojas goes to second on a pass ball.
Located in time. And a wild pitch from Senga.
Yeah. Down trouble is special. Nice little bouncer in front of that plate. Tough for Alvarez to find it and also keep his eyes on Rojas.
Easy, it was Verlander, yes.
Good shot by Rojas. Listening to this first base.
Yep, Jay, they did.
Take that to base.
Popped up. Is he going to stay in play? No, it's not. Oh, yes, Jay. Remember, game 1 was when Todd Zeal hit that ball to left field, hit the top of the wall, and Timo Perez was looking at it with 2 outs. He should have easily scored. But it takes that moment that changes everything in a ball game.
3-2, Crawford takes ball.
All 4. First 2 men on.
First 2 Mariners are on here in the 6th. Senga's been solid, but StatCast by Google Cloud showing us the 7 strikeouts so far.
Jay, I won't forget either. And I was only 13 years old.
Especially when he's behind the baseball and the spin, he can reach anywhere from 96 and 98 miles an hour. That's just a difficult cover for a hitter to try to cover the split finger as well as that fastball at that velocity.
Here's Julio Rodriguez with 2 on. He takes ball 1 from Senga. Base hit tonight for a second. They're really ready for it. Mauricio kept it on the infield. Rodriguez now with a 14-game hitting streak. He has 29 hits in the 11-game span, including the base hit tonight. One Mariner has had 30 hits in 11 games. It was Ichiro in 2004. Ichiro had 262 hits that season to establish a new major league record for the most hits in a single year. Rodriguez could get to 30 hits in 11 games with one more hit tonight.
Oh, Senga challenged him and he fouled it off.
When you use that, I don't get that baseball back. That was a mistake. Middle. Let's see, mid-sir. J-Rock just got a little too big on that swing. You can see by that finish.
2 balls and a strike. Rodriguez scores one foul, making 2-2 now. He gets to 31 hits in 11 games with 2 more hits tonight. And they'll tie a record that goes back to at least 1900 for the most hits in an 11-game span in big league history. Join the likes of Milt Stock, Heine Manouche, and Rod Carew on that list.
Manouche. You gotta be a big league with a name like that.
Douche not related to Nuke Lelouch. That's a different guy.
Oh, wait.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Julio Rodriguez. Suarez and then Raleigh behind him. But Rodriguez has been the star of Seattle's show the last 2 months.
Did he go? He did. Got him swinging, 1 out.
Really good split finger down in the zone, and it looked like J-Rock broke that play, trying to chase it and really do something. And this is what he did in the beginning of the season, really trying to overextend and create. But this is a situation in the ball game where one swing can break the game open, and so he wanted to be that guy. And so Scott Service talked about him staying within himself, trusting the support cast behind him.
On one day, Eugenio Suarez, Rodriguez still strikes out quite a bit, twice tonight. Rather, once tonight, now 144 for the year. Suarez, who leads the majors in strikeouts, has punched out twice in this game. Now the count in his favor, 2 balls, no strikes.
Senga started to play with fire, falling behind each hitter, 2-0, 2-1, and really having to make big time pitches and swing counts. And so runners on, you really have to bear down and live low, live long. If you're Suarez, you're hoping that you're getting the fastball and you're on time.
The Mets have done what they could this year to minimize the adjustment for Kodai Senga. Japan pitchers pitch 1 day a week. The Mets have given Senga 5 days between starts as often as they can. There have been some outings where he's had 4 days between starts. They've been few and far between. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Suarez. So Senga has remained somewhat fresh here going into the final month of the season.
It's really important, especially when you think about guys like Daisuke Matsuda coming over here and trying to pitch every 4th day. Obviously, the workload in Japan is much different. So you see how valuable a guy is. You want to do your best to try to keep him healthy.
Yeah.
Three call to Suarez. Back-to-back strikeouts for Senga with 2 aboard here in the 6th.
2 outs.
There's 2 things right there that I saw. Suarez cannot mix that split finger pitch before Senga.
Yeah, I like the down throw.
Throwing that fastball down and it stays true and it really locks up Suarez because he thinks that ball's going to go down out of the zone and be a split finger type motion.
9 strikeouts for Senga. Here's Cal Raleigh weaving through the ghost form. Senga struck out 10 in his last start. He's had 2 other games where he's reached double figures, twice getting to 12. Once against Tampa Bay on May 17th, once against the Diamondbacks July 5th. Those are his 3 double-digit strikeout games this year. Strike 2 to Raleigh. 2 Mets have had 4 double-digit strikeout games in their rookie year.
Let's go.
Senga trying to get to number 10. Budge, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Senga's already moved past Noah Syndergaard. And Matt Harvey tonight, second most strikeouts by rookie in Mets history. Only Tom Gooden with 4. He fouls that one off. Senga now 173 strikeouts. Harvey at 172 his rookie year. Syndergaard at 166 of his.
That was a massive split finger that had a slider action because he got outside of it. So probably doing everything he can to try to fight that pitch off and live for another one. That was absolutely dirty.
Got him. Yeah. Nice pitching by Kodai Senga. Put the first 2 men on, but gets his 10th strikeout of the game. And we're going to the bottom of the 6th. 1-0 Seattle. Good pitching by Kodai Senga. After getting the first 2 men on with a walk and a base hit. 10 strikeouts tonight in 6 innings for Kodai Senga. And that's just what Senga has been doing all year. He's just a guy that grinds. When he gets into trouble, he seems like he figures out a way to get out of it. Just been absolutely, much better than I think people can thought for the first year. The way he started, the way he was getting accustomed to everything, the baseball, the mound, and baseball in general in America. He's pitching like an ace. It's exactly what he's doing. And that's why where I think the Mets feel comfortable, I think at the deadline when they were deciding, hey, all right, we got rid of Scherzer. Do we get rid of Verlander? I think they're very confident that Senga could be a guy that can be a definite number 2 and possibly could be better than he is now and possibly could be an ace. I think there's a pretty good chance of that. Even if the Mets do get Yamamoto from Japan or sign Urias or sign a guy like Jordan Montgomery or situations like that, I think they feel very comfortable with the improvement. And let's be honest, the dominance of Senga, where he's been pitching like an ace over probably the last 2 months. And I think the Mets are very confident in Kodai Senga in definitely being excellent number 2. But there's a possibility that he could be even better than this. And you see what he's doing when he's comfortable now at the in Major League Baseball coming from Japan. He's pitching to an under 3 ERA. I think over the last 2 months, his last, 8 or 9 starts. And he's just been absolutely dominant. And I think that's something, he's probably one of the better pitchers in baseball over the last 2 months. And that's something to say, considering the fact that, in the first 2 or 3 months of the season, he was still acclimating to Major League Baseball. And I think it's going to be very interesting what the Mets do this offseason. And Brendan Nimmo's leading off in the bottom of the 6th, 1-0 Seattle.
There's ball 1 to Brandon Nimo. That breaks a string of 20 consecutive strikes thrown by Gilbert going back to the 3rd inning. The last ball that he threw was to Nimo back in that 3rd inning.
Yeah, he's found the release point not only with the fastball, but with the secondary pitches. And not giving any inkling that something other than a fastball is coming. So the slider's been there, the split finger's been there, and really this is now present. But now he's in the hitter field and counts, and we see what he can do.
2 balls, no strikes on Nimo. There's a strike from Gilbert out of Stetson University. That's a familiar university to Mets fans because that's where Jacob deGrom went to school. Corey Kluber out of there as well. So Stetson has turned into some degree a pitching factory. There's a long
Oh, yeah. That looks like a tie game, and it is. Leadoff home run for Brandon Nimmo in the bottom of the 6th. Tie ball game at Citi Field. Brandon Nimmo, 20th home run of the season. 416 feet. Career high in home runs for Brandon Nimmo. Beautiful. All right. New ball game, baby. The Niminator. I love that, Christian. I'm going to make that shirt. Come on, Frankie.
Each leadoff man has hit a home run tonight. Crawford for the Mariners in the fourth, and Nimo here in the sixth inning for the Mets.
Walker talked about it in the meeting that this is a good matchup for his ball club, even though the adversity they've seen in this season. To see a team that's not starting really playing high level postseason as basketball, baseball, so the crowd's getting back into it. He wants to see what his young players can do.
3 balls, no strikes on Lindor. For all the strikes Gilbert was throwing.
Lindor pops it up. It might be a no man. No, it's caught by the left right fielder. 1 out. He knew he got that as soon as he hit it.
Short, compact swing. You're allowing the pitcher to supply the power. I just got to be able to get my barrel on time, and that ball is gone.
It's 1 apiece. A solo homer from the leadoff batter on each side. Now Jeff McNeil bats against Logan Gilbert. Neil with a base hit his first time.
Neil pops it up. First pitch. Should be 2 outs. And it is. Yeah, easy. I get it.
Apple Music. I believe that's our first Travis trip on Apple Music this year. What's going on the limb?
I like that.
Balls and strike.
That's how you kind of jump out of that chair like I know trivia. Yeah, you got to strap you down, Wayne. I was excited for that answer.
Said if I jump out of my chair for country music, it'll be the first time. A ball, 1 strike on Alonso. But it's a great day to be alive. That's the name of the song from Travis Tritt.
Always
Agree with that.
Always love playing here. The energy. Fans, trash talk. As soon as I walk on the field, hey, Willis. I said, okay, here we go. I'm with Wayne Ronaldo. Y'all got to show man love and so, you know, they checking my credentials. We don't know who you are. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's in the gap. That's down the line. Fair ball. Should be a double for Pete Alonso with 2 outs. Good 2 out hit by Alonso to get in scoring position. Keep the Indian alive. Easy. I was talking to my dad about this. It's annoying. Like, I don't care. Oh. Ah. 1 in track. Ah. Just missed it. The wrong part of the ballpark. Couple of more feet, that ball's over the wall, and the Mets might be up by 2. But Julio Rodriguez catches the ball, and the inning is over. But not before Brandon Nimo leadoff home run to tie the ball game in the bottom of the 6th. Mets, Mariners tied at 1, going to the top of the 7th. Doing my scorecard, guys. Apologize for that. All right, guys. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button if you haven't already. Thank you for tuning in to Mets versus Mariners live stream right here on Talking Mets at Rob. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying their Friday night, September. That's right, folks. We are in September. 1 month left of the regular season, and unfortunately for Mets fans, the last month of baseball for our New York Mets, unfortunately. But there is a lot to look forward to with the young guys like Mauricio, Beatty, Alvarez, Vientos. They're going to get a lot of playing time over these next month of the season. We'll see what they got. Again, the channel is not just going to disappear because there isn't no Mets baseball. There is playoffs. I will be doing live streams during the playoffs, during certain games of the playoffs, mostly National League because, well, I'm a Mets fan. I'm a National League fan. Be very interesting. And, I will do Braves games. I will do Phillies games. I will do whoever else makes the playoffs in the National League. I'll try to do different postseason games. Of course, the wild card games are first, so I'll hit that up during the postseason as well. And then we get into the offseason and free agency, trades, president of the baseball ops, staff, all that fun stuff. Going to be a lot to talk about this offseason. So the channel is going to be going strong into the offseason and into the playoffs, even though the Mets are not going to be in there. And, of course, to keep my time occupied on YouTube, I will be starting a Cowboys channel for the NFL season. It's called The Cowboys Report. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I put the link up multiple times in the chat. Just go look for it. I'll put it up one more time before the stream ends. Sunday will be the first live stream for that channel, and it's going to be the season preview a week before week 1 of the season against the Giants, Sunday Night Football for week 1 of the season, Cowboys-Giants, which has been a staple for the last couple of years for week 1. Here we go, guys. Top of the 7th, tied at 1. Mets-Mariners. Thank you, Paula. Appreciate that.
Senga that goes forward has certainly been saying boo to the opposing hitters tonight.
I like what you did right there, Wayne. Absolutely. Call Ghostbusters to try to hit that man. Because the way he's releasing it, every hitter, you have to honor it, especially when you release it thigh high. You know it's going to be a strike. Your eyes are telling you this is going to be a fastball for a strike. And then it does that.
And there's laid off that time.
Yeah, Robert, he did. First at bat, he hits a 2-run homer. Left field. Against Verlander. Alien, that's the hope that the Braves and Phillies fall on their face in the playoffs while I'm live. But I'm going in. I'm going into those streams thinking it's just going to be terrible for me and Met fans. Yeah, I don't think the Phillies are gonna be eliminated. I don't know how many games up they're on the first wild card, but I think they're like 4 or 5 games ahead of the first wild card. I mean, they really have to choke. Let me see. Yeah, they're up by 4.5 games from let's see. Yeah, they're up 4.5 games in the first wild card, so they really have to fall off the face of the earth. I mean, the Mets do play them about 9 more times. I mean, it would be funny if the Mets basically knocked them out, but I hardly doubt that. But you never know. But we could keep the Marlins from making the playoffs as well. Fly ball. Uh-oh. That's trouble. That's going to the wall. And that's a leadoff double for the Mariners. Yeah, they're most likely, but you know what you can do? You can actually cause them to not be the first wildcard team, right? You can knock them down to the second or the third. That might not be as easy as, if they're the third wildcard team, they got to face, honestly, and that's 1 out. Mauricio gets that done. Hernandez goes to third. And listen, yes. But the Phillies as the number 1 wildcard team, they'll face the number 2 wildcard team, which will probably be somebody, either the Cubs or the Giant or whoever. But just think of it this way: if you're the 3rd wildcard team, you face the Brewers or the team that wins the Central. So, and I'm looking at the records right now. Let me see.
Leading by percentage points, the Astros playing the Yankees trailing early at Minute Maid Park 3-1.
Most teams have between 27 and 29 games left. There's a pretty good chance that that the 3rd place team. I mean, Jesus. I mean, I'm trying to look at something here. Hold on. Hey, buddy. Oh. Hi, Shay. My buddy's here. He woke up from his nap. You okay?
Devastating fork ball. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on France.
You happy? By the way, if you're a new subscriber and haven't been here, this is Shay. Yeah. Nice pitch. 2 outs. Yeah, before I went live, I gave him his food, so he got the itis. So it's probably going to be the last inning for Senga.
Thrown by Senga tonight.
Come, Shay.
Record for the most fork balls thrown in a game in the Statcast era. So his 100th pitch of the game.
He likes pencils. He likes pens.
Still throwing 98 on his 100th pitch.
Saw a lot of 93s, 94s early in the ball game, trying to fill out that release point. And all of a sudden, now that it's back against the wall the last couple of innings.
Robert, it's a possibility.
95 to 98 miles an hour. So it's a tough out. You can't miss throwing center misses because you definitely get the ball to the city.
Nice pitch.
The fastball again. It's 98 miles an hour in the 7th inning. Kodai Senga. So if there's any fatigue at this point in the game or season, it's not showing up.
Of course, Christian.
As a pitcher, though, you realize sometimes, this is the ball game. He's actually moments already early. That's another good one,
Oh, here you go. Oh. Come on. End the night good. Come on. Well, he didn't go. There you go again. No. He didn't go well, but damn. Come on.
Three balls and 2 strikes on 4.
And he struck him out. There you go. Good pitching by Kodai Senga. Excellent performance tonight. Keeping the game tied at 1. Going into the bottom of the 8th. Good job. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 strikeouts for Kodai Senga today. 7 innings of 1-run ball. Once again, just great performance by Kodai Senga. Great performance. and I don't think he's gonna go to the 8th inning. I didn't see his pitch count. Apple TV sucks. I don't think they had the pitch count, but I think he was just around 98. I think maybe, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. Well, Alien, you know what I do now? And unfortunately, I bought a black Scherzer jersey last year. What am I gonna do, right? But what I did was there's this great shop called Stitches in Flushing, College Point, that does jerseys, and they do great work. And I took my Scherzer jersey and I changed it to a Senga jersey. They took the letters off, they took the numbers off, they fixed up the jersey, and it cost me $40 to put the letters in the back of the jersey, the number in the back, and the number in the front. So pretty cool. So that's what you got to do sometimes. It's stupid to spend another $200 and something on a authentic jersey. Again, I bought the Lindor jersey when they traded for him, or when they extended him, the blue Lindor jersey. I went to the MLB shop in the city, and I picked it up. And I remember I introduced it to the channel in 2021. So, yeah, easy. You know what, though? It's hard. But you know what? It's not like the Mets fans are not used to this. Like, it sucks, but we're used to this, right? The difference is, and I think Mets fans are still emotionally traumatized by the Wilpon era, that it's hard to be optimistic about the next year, but why not? Right? You got an owner that is not afraid to spend. You're basically a top 6 or 7 farm system in baseball now. I mean, why not? All right, DJ Stewart up in the bottom of the 7th. And why can't you? Why can't you be optimistic? Even if you don't think, you don't have to be the best team on paper to win a World Series. I think that's been proven. So, yes, Alien, check it out. I'll let's see.
Showed me a lot about their mental makeup, not giving up and not conceding, and not just letting me just fall behind in the count and throw a fastball. They really showed the ability to pitch against and be able to follow mid.
Well, 2 strikes on Stewart. Logan Gilbert's got a great outing as well. 7 strikeouts for Gilbert tonight. It's 2-2 on Stewart. It's obvious what the Mariners are playing for. They want to win the division.
Easy, maybe.
First World Series in franchise history. Mariners will have the entire month of September here to jockey for playoff positioning with Rangers and the Astros.
Come on, DJ. Strike 3. A lot of strikeouts. 20 strikeouts in the game today. 8 for Gilbert and 12 for Senga. And Senga's shaking hands. Senga is done for the day.
Cancer right there, Alonso, as there was some sort of report from New York City talk show host a week or so ago saying that Pete was a problem in the Mets clubhouse. Boy, the ball club and his teammates and his
Consuelo, how are you, hon?
around the Mets vociferously disagreed with that report, saying Pete Alonso is anything but. He is a valued member, a big part of the Mets clubhouse culture.
Show was not happy about that comment. He's the type of manager where he doesn't read a lot of clippings or lose their long press, but he wanted to address that quickly in the meeting and say,
Robert, I think he hit a rookie wall. This is the most amount of games he's played in the season. Catching every day. I mean, the amount of energy it takes to do all that, learning the pitching staff, I think he hit a wall. It's only going to make him better, in my opinion. You got to get that average up. You can't go through a whole month of being non-existent power-wise. So,
I don't think he's concerned about going anywhere else. They just come on, got lots more chips to dip.
he's been on 21 home runs for a month now. Easy, that's exactly what it is. Exactly. I always said that, Steven. I said that yesterday on the Mets off-day report. I said, Alvarez has to get back. He has to adjust to what the league is doing to him now. Good players that stay in Major League Baseball adjust when the teams adjust. That's the way it goes. Pitchers and teams always figure out the hitter at some point. It's up to the hitter to adjust. Well, you're just not going to be in the big leagues. It's just that simple. And fans are doing the stupid wave. I know the game don't matter for the Mets, but it's a 1-1 ball game in the 7th. I hate the wave.
Series ring as a Yankee. It's meaningful that their homegrown players stick around.
And he strikes out. 9th strikeout for Gilbert. 2 outs.
Alonso already in a short time has put up numbers unlike really anybody else in Mets history.
Exactly, Steven. Same thing.
Beyond 2024 to end up very quickly as the franchise's all-time home run leader right now. That's Darryl Strawberry, who hit 252. Mike Piazza started as a Dodger. Even David Wright, who was really that homegrown star.
See if Beatty can do anything here.
Because of the back problems, Mets fans didn't get to see it through. I think that they really like to keep their arms wrapped around Pete Alonso and see him see it through with this franchise moving forward.
Pete Alonso is the type of talent, though, if you let him walk, he might be doomed for the next decade. You might have to face him in big situations as well. Like, you have to be able to keep him. And a lot of the team struggles is, not only the pitching took a step back, but some of the offensive pieces, like Monte and other guys took a step back. But just for the fan base, I'm looking out in this booth and I'm seeing a lot of clean jerseys in the stands. And so, you want to hear about some Blues. They're not going to be happy down there in Port St. Lucie if he gets he walks away.
Alonso has one more year of team controls. He is with the Mets for 2024, and then beyond that, he's a free agent after the 24 season. That's right now. So that's locking up long term for them. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Brett Beatty, who struck out a couple of times. Logan Gilbert has fan 9. His career high.
Alien, I obviously prefer to keep Alonso. But, I don't think they're going to trade him. But, I mean, the package has to be astronomical. And that's why an off-season trade is probably better because you could probably get, if that ever happens, because you can get players that are already up at the major leagues plus prospects. And there's a pitcher mound, so let me just mute it really quick. Yeah, the thing with the Pete Alonso trade is that if you're trading them in season, you're going to get prospects only because you're trading them to a team that's in it to try to make the playoffs. But if you trade them in the offseason, there's a better chance of you getting guys that are already at the big league level and prospects. So you get best of both worlds, but I don't want to trade Pete Alonso. I'm just giving you a situation where if they trade him, that's probably the package you're going to have to get. You're going to probably get like 2 or 3 top 3 prospects in their system and an everyday player or an everyday pitcher, something like that in that. But you got to give me a ton. I mean, a hell of a lot. Come on, Brett. Easy, same thing. I agree. There you go. Good job. That's what I want to see. Good job. Put the bat on the ball. Good job. Now you got Mauricio up. 2 outs.
7 as Beatty gets a 2-out single.
That's what Beatty needs to do. 2 outs, 2 strikes, put the bat on the ball.
That extended to before his promotion to the
Looks like there's going to be a pitching change. Oh, pitching coach going to the mound.
coach Pete Woodward heads to bat.
That's what I want to see, right? You want to see him lift the ball a little bit more, drive the ball more. But on 2 strikes, I want to see him do that, especially with 2 outs. Get on base.
Mauricio bumped into the big leagues moment. Bottom of the third, he released one over the head of Teoscar Hernandez. His family celebrating. Mauricio, hearty thank you to them. All the support they've shown him over the years. The 22-year-old from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, Ronnie.
Just a kid with a Mets sign, a real skinny kid. With a lot of muscle.
Oh, yeah, Johnny, we're all rooting for Beatty. I mean, we want him to succeed.
Over the head of Hernandez for his first big league hit.
Come on, Ronnie, let's go.
And run on base, Mauricio bats with 7.
That's up the middle, yeah. There we go. Beatty's going to stay at second base. There you go. Little C&I single up the middle. Two hits in a row from Beatty and Mauricio with 2 outs. 2 for 3 so far today for Brett Beatty. I mean, for Ronnie Mauricio, excuse me. And Nimo's up. Nimo, last at bat, hit a solo home run to tie the ball game. Yeah, Johnny, he's destroying AAA baseball, but a lot of people destroy AAA baseball. That doesn't mean you can do it at the big league level. Beatty has not proven he can do it at the big league level. I don't care what he does in AAA, to be honest with you. It really doesn't matter to me. AAA numbers doesn't help the big league club at all. You know, Beatty can be a career AAA player. He can mash there. If you don't mash at the big league level, you're not going to be at the pros for a long time. Well, Allen, probably not. Again, we go crazy, right? Beatty, first at bat in his debut, hits a home run. And how did that turn out for the last year and a half, right? So you just never know, right? Again, everybody talks about Mauricio just being a pure hitter. So, you know, that's always great. But, hey, listen, you got to continue it. Again, Brett Beatty, pitchers, and we just talked about this earlier. Pitchers and other teams are going to adjust and find your weakness. It's up to the hitter to adjust to what they're pitching you. That's how big league hitters stay in the big league. If not, you're not going to be a big leaguer for a long time. Same thing that goes for pitchers. Once the league figures you out, then you have to adjust to get better. If not, well, you're probably not. You're not going to be a starter. Maybe they'll send you to the bullpen. But at some point, if you don't adjust, you're not going to be in the big leagues for a long time. And that's where Beatty has to get over that hump. If he doesn't, well, you're going to be another prospect in Major League Baseball that has flared out, which is hundreds of them over the years, thousands of them over the years. And again, AAA is not what AAA used to be. AAA is for fringe major leaguers and guys that are trying to hold on to their career. That's basically what it is now. AA is where the best prospects are in baseball. So those numbers I take a little bit more seriously than AAA numbers. I think Mauricio is going to be a pure hitter. It's just a matter of, can he be a good enough defensive player to be an everyday all-around player? If not, maybe he's a career DH. You just never know. So the Mets have first and second with 2 outs. Brandon Nimo coming up. Beatty and Mauricio go back-to-back with hits with 2 outs. And Brandon Nimo coming up. The Mets and the Mariners are tied at 1, bottom of the 7th. Can the Mets take the lead here with 2 outs? It's been their biggest problem of the 2023 season. They cannot score runs with 2 outs. That's been their big problem. Gabe Spear, the left-hander, is in the game for the Mariners.
Mets on here in the bottom of the 7th in this tie game.
Nimo ground ball. And he just gets there in time to second base, and that ends the inning, guys. Inning over. But Mets do not score. Nimo tries to go for the first pitch. And the inning is over. And the Mets do not score. And we're going to the top of the eighth, 1-1. Yeah, Alan, it's been the problem the whole season. You know, the first month and a half, it was based definitely the pitching. And then the offense from basically the middle of May until like July, they were terrible offensively. Then when the pitching started getting together, the hitting was hitting, and then the pitching wasn't doing well. The pitching was doing well, the hitting wasn't doing well. It was just back and forth. Dolphins win Super Bowl, Braves win the World Series. Good luck with that one. You probably have a better shot with the Braves. Yeah, Alan, yeah, but you know what? Those are two teams, and I always go back to this, right? The Braves and the Dodgers basically has been the cream of the crop of baseball for about 20 the last 10 years. They just been winning division after division after division, and for years they've choked in the playoffs every year, right? The Braves finally pulled through in a year where they weren't even the best team in baseball. They weren't even one of the favorites to win the World Series in 2021, right? They played in they won the NL East by basically formality. Everybody else sucked. The Braves were better last year than they were in 2021. Yet they got knocked off to the Phillies in the DS, right? You know, the Dodgers won in a pandemic year in a 60-game season. Can we stop giving them credit for that world championship? At least the Braves won a real world championship. You give them all the credit in the world. But after Acuna went down, you think Brave fans were excited about that team? No. They didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs, right? Jorge Soler was the World Series MVP for crying out loud. Christian, it's a possibility. I think baseball is now like the NHL playoffs. Just get in and anybody can win. It's just that simple. All right, so Phil Bickford is in the game for the Mets in the top of the eighth.
Yeah, Phil Bickford, fastball anywhere from 93 to 96 miles an hour. Sharp slider.
Rojas leads off the top of the eighth. Phil Bickford probably threw the most famous pitch in Friday Night Baseball history when he gave up home run number 700 at Albert Pujols last September at Dodger Stadium. Ball one strike on Rojas leading off here in the eighth. Well, the Mariners haven't been as good in one-run games this year. They still have to feel pretty comfortable with their bullpen against the Mets bullpen.
Especially if they get a lead and they get that nasty man down there. He's been outstanding, and that's a big reason why they gave up on Paul Sewall, because they knew they had a closer in Munoz that had really, really frontline stuff. I thought Sewall could fastball anywhere from 91 to 92. Wasn't afraid to go off his own, but nobody in baseball wants to see Munoz, especially when they have a lead.
1-2 strikes on Rojas, who had a base hit his last time.
Did he go? No.
Munoz has led the American League in saves since the Sewall trade. Paul Sewall, who was originally in the Mets organization, ended up being the closer for the Mariners. Now he's with Arizona. Josh Rojas was part of that trade. He takes ball 3. Top of the order for the Mariners is next. Bickford is Wild Times.
Pop out, and Alonso got it. 1 out.
You guys were talking about Pete Alonso last half. I talked to a number of players, even Buck Showalter. They all reiterated what you said about him being a great teammate. And today he launched a new initiative called For Love of the Game. He surprised a group of little leaguers at their field earlier.
Well,
this week,
Alan,
giving
that's the
them a
point.
$10,000 grant to help
Scherzer didn't
recover
pitch like that for the Mets in big games. That's the problem.
and their families to come to tonight's game. Pete told me it's about making memories for these kids and sharing the love of baseball with them. He's really done a wonderful job of giving back to this community. Guys.
Oh, easy, absolutely. Obviously, you want to switch places with the Braves and the Dodgers, winning so many divisions and getting into the playoffs. But again, facts are facts. History is history, right? The Mets never make the playoffs, and the Braves and Dodgers, in years past, have choked in the playoffs, even when they were winning division titles every freaking year and considered best teams. The Dodgers, how many times they're going into the playoffs, the best team in baseball or the best team in National League, and either don't make the World Series or they don't win. It's just that simple. My cat's getting scared because they're still doing construction upstairs. He just went crazy. Hey, you okay? You all right?
2 balls, 2 strikes. Pickford has had an ERA above 7 since joining the Mets. The Mets bullpen ERA in the month of August was 5.87. David Robertson was their closer in the first half. He was traded to Miami, although he has not pitched well with Miami. He did pitch pretty well for the Mets. Edwin Diaz has been lost to this point for the entire year. Crawford with a pop-up. Lindor on the outfield press.
2 outs.
That's that. There's 2 up, 2 down. Here comes
Hey, buddy.
Julio.
Oh, careful.
I mean, when to hit 400 in a month, I mean, that's high school numbers. Really propelled that ball club. I believe they can be anybody in baseball as long as they have this young man healthy.
Balls in a strike on Rodriguez, 1 for 3. He struck out his last time. Has extended his hitting streak to 14
Easy,
games.
buddy, easy.
He's been every bit the superstar.
Yeah, but I think Josh Hader. You see, the problem with that is with Josh Hader, and we'll get to that when the inning's over about Josh Hader, and I'll let you know why it's not that good of an idea, and I'll tell you why. Oh, that's going to be in the gap. That's going to be a double, maybe a triple. That's going to be a 2-out double.
It's a 2-out double and his 30th hit in the last 11 games.
Rumble, young man, rumble.
Yeah, Robert, you ain't kidding. He does. Oh, here he goes again. He came back.
Shortens his swing, doesn't try to hit too big. Still hits the majority.
He likes the pencil. Right now, he's on my scorecard. You gonna lay down on it? Okay. I guess he's gonna lay down on it. Excuse me, buddy. You're showing everybody your butt. What's going on here?
Into one of the game's most exciting young players. For a bit of a slow start this year, since the beginning of July, Rodriguez has run rampant over opposing pitchers.
He's 12 years old and he already has 300 hits, Mike.
Pretty much. Second player in the big leagues to ever have 300 hits or more, 50 homers or more, and
Come on, Phil, let's go.
steals or more in his first 2 years. The other is Acuna. There's been times where his teammates have called him Acuna. One in the Northwest, one in the Southeast.
Yeah, Robert, that would have been crazy with
Stars right now.
with Piazza.
There's a strike to Eugenio Suarez to make it 3-1. Think about the future of this sport. Guys like Julio Rodriguez and Ronald Acuna Jr. I feel pretty good about the direction.
KTO, I'm sorry, buddy. Hopefully everything goes well.
3-2 on Suarez.
Suarez is going to look back on that tape, and especially he gets himself in the 3-1 count. That's what he put in that lineup to do, to try to provide damage and spills in between. So we get a little pass, a swing, thinking of a slider from the column. He's got to get
Come on.
works himself in that kind of counts. He's got to hit that baseball before.
Easy, I'll tell you why. Don't worry.
2 pitch coming with Francisco Alvarez as we set it down the lane.
Well, you mentioned we saw Ronald Acuna Jr. become the first ever member of the 30-homer, 60 stolen base club yesterday. Julio Rodriguez has his own goal in that vein, a 30-30 season. J-Rod told me he thrives on being told he can't do something. So Mariners president Jerry DiPoto challenged him by saying he didn't think he could do a 30-30 season. Julio already has the stolen base mark. He's got 35, and he is 6 homers shy of 30. He homered in his last 3 straight heading into this one tonight, guys.
A single and a double tonight. So go ahead, run at second base in this tie game at the top of the 3-2. On the batter, Eugenio Suarez. A pop up. Shallow right. Alonso goes out, calls for it. He's in foul ground. Makes the
All right. Good job by Bickford to get out of the inning. Mets are going to the bottom of the 8th, tie ball game. So, who was easy? This is the reason why, right? Ottavino is a guy that can close games occasionally, but he's used to pitching in the 7th and 8th inning. Edwin Diaz is an anomaly when it comes to pitchers going in the 8th inning, or sometimes pitching the 8th and the 9th, or just pitching the 8th and not closing a game, right? Guys like Josh Hader is a closer. He's a guy that needs to be in the 9th inning. He's not a pitcher, because you see it a lot of times with a lot of closers. The adrenaline you get from going in the 9th inning to save a game is a lot different than going into the 7th or 8th inning or the 8th inning in a non-save situation where the adrenaline is not kicking as much. Josh Hader, if you look, they've tried it a couple of times, specifically the Brewers. Not a lot of times they pitched him in the 8th inning because he struggled. If you're going to get Hader, you got to make him the closer. And that's not what the Mets are going to do. You just paid Edwin Diaz. You're not making him the closer. That's the problem with Hader. He has terrible numbers for a guy that is a dominant closer. But you also got to look at the fact that he has a lot of miles on that arm. The Brewers basically ran him to the ground. And I do think that it's a dangerous game with that. No, easy. It's not excuses. It's a fact. Look at his numbers. He's pitched, if I'm not mistaken, because I looked at this before. Oh, I think the other day. 21 innings in his career in the 8th inning. He has a 5 ERA in that inning. He's not a guy that can pitch any other inning but the 9th or in a save situation. Occasionally coming in a tie ball game in the 9th. He's not a pitcher that can come in anywhere else but a save situation or the 9th inning in a tie game situation. It's just how it is. Some pitchers can't do it. Juris Familia was absolutely terrible when the Mets tried to pitch him in the 8th inning. He was garbage. Some guys just can't do it. It's just that simple. It's just what it is, all right? Lindor's leading off in the bottom of the 8th, tie game.
To take out the Seattle Mariners in the opening game of this series. Now, the Mariners have gone to their best reliever, Andres Munoz. Scott Service brings in essentially his closer. Best Mets hitters coming up: Lindor, McNeil, and Alonso in an effort to keep this game tied. Not often a strategy you see employed by a major league manager, but makes sense considering that these are the Mets' best hitters. Teams tend to use
So the Mets got 2, 3, 4. Lindor, McNeil, Alonso. That's a base hit. There we go. Leadoff hit for Lindor. First man on in the 8th.
Andres Munoz has become one of the best relievers in the Mariners bullpen, but he had some confidence issues early last season. So Mariners pitching coach Pete Woodward had Munoz step into the box and face himself via their project machine, which virtually shows the pitcher with their pitchers coming out of this machine. He said it made him realize, wow, this is how hard I throw and how hard this pitch is to hit.
I said Shohei should do that.
I like that thought process, though. It definitely gives you a lot of credit. And sometimes when you're on the mound, you give the hitter too much credit. You try to nibble around the strike zone, and that's how you get a hitter from the counts. And basically, what it's teaching is to trust your stuff and your ability.
Joe McNeil heading on toward the left field line.
Yeah, it was the first pitch, 1 out.
Lindor stays put at first, so McNeil flies out. Now Pete Alonso will face Andres Munoz. Go ahead right first.
Come on, Pete.
Munoz with a 2.56 ERA entering today's play. 54 strikeouts in 39 innings on the year.
Oh, that almost hit him.
99-mile-an-hour fastball. Alonso gets hit a lot. Both of these teams do, as a matter of fact. The Mariners lead the majors in hit by pitch. The Mets are second. Mets have been hit a lot over the last couple of years. They set a franchise record last year. There goes Lindor. Pitch is right to the second.
And Lindor steals second base. There you go. Now we got a man in scoring position with 1 out.
Lindor with his career high 25th steal.
I thought that was very smart of Lindor to hit Pete Alonso. Let him look at one pitch and try to do some damage.
Come on, Pete. Base hit.
Especially with that high leg kick. He thought he could steal that back easily. Smart job.
Now base hit could give the Mets the lead. Lindor with good speed and a good base runner at second base. So late as he fouled that one off 100 miles an hour from Munoz.
100 miles an hour. Late line hit.
Hey, buddy.
Alonso's 39 home runs this year. 23 have come with a man on base. That's tied for the most in the major leagues. Olsen also with 23.
Oh, that ball gets away, and Lindor gets the third. Yes. There we go. Wild pitch. Yay! Talking Mets with Shea, yes. Hey, can you not steal my pen, please? I'm trying to work here.
Now the Mariners have to bring their infield in. Tied up at the bottom of the eighth.
Now he's laying down right next to the camera. And Alonso strikes out. 2 outs. Another spot where you don't need a home run here. You just need a base hit or a sac fly. 2 outs. What do you want? What are you doing? Huh?
Did call. Pitch on Munoz to put Lindor at third as Vogelback takes strike one. Vogelback has flied out to deep center field tonight. He's 0 for 3. Lindor trying to dance around the third base line. Vogelback slashes one foul.
Hey. My oh my.
Halfway down the line. Suarez backs off with Vogelback at the plate and 2 strikes.
Shea likes the pen, guys. Jay, it's been the problem the whole season this year. It's the biggest problem this year. Situational hitting sucks. Again, in that situation, Pete Alonso and Pete Alonso needs a sack fly there. That's what he needs.
Rubio's trying to work around a single, a steal, and a wild pitch.
Foul ball.
Taps it to stay alive. Looking ahead to the top of the ninth inning, the Mariners left Ronny, Hernandez, and Canzone duo. They're 4, 5, and 6 hitters.
Come on, Danny. I agree, Easy. Welcome back, staying alive.
That is impressive. Vogelbach's just trying to live to find another day. I mean, that sinker is running off the plate at that velocity.
Are you comfortable?
All the way in the right-handed back.
You got your tail in my face.
To get a piece of that.
Come on, Danny, let's go.
Not a lip reader, but not happy with himself.
Ball. Didn't go.
Off that time, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes on Vogelbach. It's Drew Smith warming up in their bullpen.
Oh, Drew Smith warming up in the bullpen. Ball 3.
DJ Stewart. Been one of the better bench hitters of late on deck.
Come on.
And he pitching back.
Let's go.
Mostly fastballs of some variety from Andres Munoz.
Let's go. Yeah, all right, Danny. Mets take the lead. That's how you do some 2-out hitting, baby. 2-1. All right, Danny. Bogey. There we go. Some 2-out hitting there. There we go. There we go. Good job. And Vogelbach is getting pinch ran for somebody. Who is coming in? Come on, DJ, let's go. Tim LaCastro is pinch running. Huh.
Speed. Let's turn loose here with a chance to steal against Munoz. He's already taking off.
Oh, LaCastro steals second base. There we go. Another man in scoring position.
It was almost like he walked into that lead, so he didn't think that Munoz was going to pick over and engage back-to-back times, and he guessed right.
Wonder if Drew Smith's coming in for the night to get the save. Who's coming up for the Mariners? They got Raleigh, Hernandez, and Cazone. 4, 5, 6. Come on, DJ, let's go. Eric, I agree about the MVP with Senga.
Got the save on Wednesday. The Mariners last play, they beat Oakland 5-4. Wednesday.
Come on.
At T-Mobile Park.
Ball 3.
3 to DJ Stewart. Munoz missed the first couple of months of the season with a deltoid strain. Pretty sharp since returning. Staple in the Seattle bullpen.
Ball 4.
He's having a hard time getting out of the inning. Now he's walked Stewart.
Yeah, It's looking like Munoz is getting under the baseball. He's not getting that sinking action.
Well, one of the better relievers in baseball struggling here. Mets take the lead on a 2-out Vogelback, 2-out RBI to give the Mets the lead in the bottom of the 8th. All right, DJ Stewart is getting pitch ran for Ortega. Eric Smith's a disaster. To be honest.
What is there to play for in the month of September? What would a good September look like? He highlighted a few things. Number one being that the veteran.
All right, let's see what Francisco Alvarez can do here. I want to see him take that ball up the middle. You only need a base hit here. You'll score Castro. Look, Castro.
Start to get some experience.
Come on.
And be able to have some good moments as well. Just play hard. Just play the opposing teams like you care, like you want to
Come on.
win these games at this stage of the year. It's done all that tonight. Here's Alvarez. Ronny Mauricio's had 2 hits in his big league debut. In fact, Alvarez, Beatty, and Mauricio have each had a hit.
If you're just tuning in, guys, the Mets just took the lead on the Daniel Vogelback 2-out RBI in the 8th, 2-1 Mets. Don't forget, if you're just tuning in, to hit on that like button. Dig if you're tuning in. The Talking Mets and Rob, Mets versus Mariners live here on the channel. Come on, Frankie.
You owe it to the fans. You owe it to your teammates and the organization, professional athletes. And so, regardless of how the year is going, you still have to play hard. And you can play spoiler, and you can really set yourself up for next year as well, because everybody's watching, whether it be the managers, the coaches, the front office.
Oh! Damn. Wild pitch. Munoz is all over the place.
He's done this twice with the Senga. I think he's getting on the side of the baseball, and what happens is when your head starts to lean to your glove side way too early, with that type of arm strength and speed, the hand can never catch up in front of you.
Pops it up. Should end the inning. And it does. Alvarez pops up, but not before Daniel Vogelback with a 2-out RBI to give the Mets the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Mets look to win the game in the 9th for the save. If the Mets can hold on, they win the first game of the series against the Seattle Mariners. And the Mets are trying to become spoilers. That's all you can be at this point when you decide to not make the playoffs this year. So at the very least, that's what they're doing at the moment. But I think Drew Smith's coming in, so that might be a disaster. And don't give me a second, guys. I'm just filling out my scorecard. There we go. All right. So Munoz had a tough go of it. What was it? How many hits? 2 hits. He gave up the run. 1 strikeout. And 1 walk. All right, so bottom of the top of the 9th. Mets lead 2-1. And it looks like Drew Smith was warming up. I don't know if he's going to Mauricio's 2 for 3 today. And Shea is making another appearance. Just in time for the night. You don't want to show everybody your butt. He's a little restless now. He was sleeping most of the time. After he ate, now he's just playing with his toys. I buy this cat all these toys, and his favorite toy that he plays with is not even a toy. It's a straw. I don't get it. I don't get it. He loves the straw. I bought him this little maze that has a ball in it that he can play around with, and it goes everywhere. All types of bird things, scratch pad, everything. He likes a straw. I just don't get it. Yep, 2 for 3. He hit a double, single, and 1 strikeout. I'll take it. Like I said, he had good at bats. Hi, you're back again? Oh, yeah, college football. That's right. Oh, can you stop playing with my pens, please? I think Shay wants to finish up the scorecard. Yeah, honestly, Robert, he's very affectionate with everybody. Like he's a very good cat. Like he's not one of those cats that like go crazy. And Drew Smith is in the ball game. Let's see if he can finish the game. He's very friendly. And he's very quiet too. He's not. He's very affectionate. Like he's a little skittish at first, not scared, but just cautious. And he might be blocking the camera in just a second. Excuse me. We're live here, buddy.
Start this long road trip to New York, to Cincinnati, and then Tampa Bay. Deck of a pennant race.
But he's smart. For he's a 6-month-old kitten. I got him when he was 4 months. He's smart. He knows how to open doors, which is dangerous. Uh-oh. Hey, you turned the TV off on me, buddy. What are you doing? Oh, there we go. Apple shut down for a second. I've had him since June. I got him when he was 4 months old. Yeah, he is. You're taking over my channel. There we go. He's very excited. Usually I'm sleeping, so he's happy that I'm up while he's running around going nuts. Yeah, Apple just went blacked out for like 5 seconds. Come on, Drew. You freaking bum.
There's a rocket down the line with foul call. Senga struck out 5 men with a runner in scoring position between the 6th and the 7th innings. Mets have not been bad late in games at holding leads, even without Edwin Diaz all year. They've gone 52-2 leading after 8.
And oh, that was close. Just missed. Leadoff walk. Yeah, Robert. I'm looking for it. I'm probably gonna get him something like that. He doesn't like stuff on him. I noticed that, but he's still young, so that was a close pitch, man. Just low, just low.
The Mariners put in a pinch runner. It's Jose Caballero to run for Cal Raleigh at first. It's the tying run. Oscar Hernandez with all of his power, adding with tying run on base and nobody out here on the top of the line. Caballero's got a big lead.
Got him. Yeah, picked him off. Yeah. All right, Drew. Good job. Perfect. Looked like he got him. Oh, yeah, he got him. Yeah, 1 out. Come on, Drew. That was a great move by Drew Smith. Oh, you can't pitch. You might as well pick him off. Hey. Oh, sorry. Shay wanted to make another appearance, guys. Sorry. Excuse me. I'm live. What are you doing? Come here, Shay. There you go. Could be 2 outs. And it is 2 outs.
Students, bring your favorite team back to school with you. MLB.tv. Receive a free subscription with authentication through ID.me. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Download the MLB.
One more out, guys. And of course, you move my camera around all over the place.
Mariners at the start of this road trip.
Come on, Drew. Let's go. One more.
Away from T-Mobile Park. So off the end of his bat, fouls one off. That's rookie catcher Francisco Alvarez giving the go-ahead right there, tapping the back of his catcher's mitt, closing it, instructing Drew Smith to throw over.
See, that's vision, gamesmanship, and scouting. Once he saw how big a lead he had and him leading, like, let's give it a shot right here. And it took the momentum right out of the Mariners dugout and put it right back in the Mets dugout. But really, everybody's going to talk about that play, but the Mariners had a ton of chances to be able to score and not be in this situation that they're in tonight.
Only run on a J.P. Crawford homer in the fourth.
Strike two. Hey, stop touching the camera, buddy.
33,000 plus Labor Day weekend here at Citi Field.
Come on. Let's go, Drew. Round ball. Up the middle. Damn it. Nice try by Mauricio trying to get it. Damn it.
Two-out single here in the ninth. Ty France will represent the go-ahead run.
Like that adjustment at the plate.
It's a good pitch. That's a good pitch. Way on the outside corner. Not even close. It's in the other batter's box.
Mauricio showing that range. He almost got to that baseball and knocked it down.
Come on.
No quit in this Mariners group. They've certainly shown that over the last couple of seasons, in particular the last couple of months. The team was 10 games out at one point. There's Cade Marlowe. It's running for Canzone.
All right. Cade Marlowe.
France over two tonight. Drew Smith throws over. They got one guy. Might as well see if we get the other.
Very big. And it was actually a good pitch by Drew Smith. That ball was in the other batter's box. And he got the bat on the ball and got the base hit. Sometimes you tip your cap to the hitter.
Alvarez throws down.
Easy.
Keeps it in front of him as Marlowe dives back. One thing about France, he has good power to the gaps. It's outfield, not terribly deep here. Expect a no doubles defense. That's necessarily saying no doubles defense. Nimo is a bunch of medium depth in center field.
Nice pitch.
It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike on France.
Come on.
That slider before that fastball up is a pitch that he can drive, and usually he does. And so you see the teammates Julio rooting on saying, "Come on, Todd, we need you right now." Even if they get into the postseason, I think he's a big component in their offense for somebody that can show power line to line.
Takes ball 3. France was
Christ.
all-star
Come on,
last year.
Drew.
He had that collision and hurt his wrist. Wasn't quite the same in the second half.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Certainly can run into one on deck.
Game day went crazy on me. Sorry about that. I'll get the game up as soon as possible.
First, that's the second throw over from Smith.
Sometimes game day drops out if you have it on for so long. Once it comes back on, I'll share it again, guys. Sorry about that. Strike 2. Come on.
So you're seeing he's just not getting the barrel to where he wants to get it to. And look out on the second wreck. That's ball 4. Yeah, as long as the inning.
go from first on a 3-2 pitch to Prince.
Foul ball.
Mariners have
Come on.
29-9 in their last 38 games.
Todd Francis locked in. That's a double at least in the gap. You see his sights are trying to look like Senga. Just a tad hard.
Arlo will run again on 3-2 to Prince.
Ooh, that was a hanger. Out of play. That was a hanging slider there. Drew's got to stick to his fastball. Tie him up inside.
That's a team just focused on finishing strong. Drew Smith trying to close it out. Mariners team focused on October and focused on the American League West title. It's been a well-played ball game, a hard-fought game here at Citi Field tonight. The Mets trying to lock down a 2-1 score. 3-2.
Got him, baby. Yeah. Put it in the books. Mets win 2-1. Drew Smith gets the save, and Daniel Vogelback gets the game-winning RBI in the 8th to give the Mets the lead and win the ball game for the Mets. Game 1 of the series against the Mariners. Mets are looking to be spoilers over the last month of the season. Ronny Mauricio, first hit of his MLB career, was a double and ended up 2 for 3 today, a double and a single and 1 strikeout. Mauricio had a very nice day for his MLB debut, wearing number 10. First time in a Mets uniform, wearing the black jersey. And Ronny Mauricio is going to be up here for the rest of the year. And we're going to see the baby Mets, the full 4 baby Mets, be a part of this team for the rest of the month and see what they can do here. Once again, guys, the Mets win 2-1, first game of the series against the Mariners. We had a cameo by Shay the Cat, Kitten, for a couple times today, and he's very excited. The Mets won, and once again, guys, don't forget, if you're a football fan or a Cowboys fan, I will be doing a Cowboys channel for the NFL season. It's called The Cowboys Report. I will share the link one more time with you guys, and let you guys go about your business. Let me just find it really quick. Give me a second, guys. I apologize. All right, guys. So once again, the Cowboys Report, the link is in the stream, in the chat. So if you want to click on it, please do. And subscribe to the channel. Once again, guys, Mets win 2-1. They're looking to be spoilers for the rest of the month. And we'll see what happens with our baby Mets the rest of the year. They're talking to Ronny Mauricio right now. Everybody have a great night. Let's go, Mets. Mets win 2-1, beat the Mariners in game 1 of the series. Have a good night, guys. Let's go, Mets. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a great night.
Hello again, everybody. Joe Piscopo, Shea Stadium.